So, hello everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you again. I am Pallav, welcoming you all again on behalf of EMobility Plus and First View Group to the second day of EV Battery Tech 2021. Hope you had a good time networking with your peers today again. And now it's time to start on with our second day of conference. But before that, I take the pleasure to thank again our partners for extending their immense support to organize this event. So, starting with our platinum partner, Epsilon Advanced Materials Private Limited, our gold partner, FEMA, industry partner, Signy Energy, knowledge partner, GIG, and last but not the least, our supporting partner, WRI India. So now let me quickly take you through today's agenda like yesterday. Uh, Today also we will be having two sessions. The first one will be the battery as a service and battery swapping. The second one will be smart battery technology dialogue. And after this, we'll be having our much awaited EV Battery Tech Award ceremony. But before that, I just request my team to play the video of our event gold partner, FEMA. Can we have the video, please? Thank you, team. So now, without any further delay, let's begin our first session. And the session will be starting with a very interesting knowledge presentation on India's mobility profile and its impact on battery technology. And for this, we have with us Mr. Amit Bhatt, who is the Executive Director from WRI India. Welcome on the screen, sir.
Thank you so much, Pallav. And let me start my presentation. Today, I'm going to talk about
Sure, sir.
The whole issue of. So we have been talking a lot about battery technologies, and today also we'll be talking a little bit more. But before we get into details of the battery technology, the design, and the chemistry and other parameters, I think it's time for us to slightly step back and see what's the mobility profile that we have in our country and cities. And is that mobility profile in any way going to impact the battery technology, the battery design, even the battery chemistry that we are looking at? And so that's what I'm going to talk about in next 9 to 10 minutes. So first thing we have to remember is that the world as a whole is more urban than rural. And I think the inflection point came in 2010 when we really crossed this threshold value. Now, having said that, we all know that this urbanization level is not same everywhere in the world. In fact, in India, as per last census, we were almost a third urbanized. And the reason why this is important is that countries which are on low levels of urbanization or moderate level of urbanizations will urbanize more in the coming years, because urbanization is linked to economic growth and prosperity. And as a country, we try to pull people out of prosperity, a significant amount of that will come from urbanization, because the urbanization does give you the economies of scale. And we have seen from the literature world over that economic prosperity growth is directly linked to the level of the urbanization levels. So we will urbanize. And with urbanization, what is also important is one of the key output is motorization. And therefore, as we talk about mobility and as we talk about providing millions and billions of people mobility, the question is how can we provide them clean mobility? And I think the COVID pandemic and its impact has really shown us that this is a great opportunity as countries and cities open up from lockdown and move towards this regime. I think that's a big opportunity we have to kind of look at providing mobility, which is not only does its job but also is green and sustainable. And therefore, I think walking, cycling, public transport are the fundamentals, and within that, uh, zero emission vehicles like electric vehicles are an important ingredient. And I think we also heard yesterday, and we'll be also be hearing a little more on some of the benefits that comes with electric mobility. Now, whether it is better air, or the lower emissions, or the great opportunity to promote renewables, or just look at from the energy security perspective, because bulk of the petroleum product that we use is imported. It does have a positive impact on plant growth factors, and we have a great opportunity for actually becoming leaders in this space as we move towards electric mobility. Now, this is given, but the question is, for this to achieve a reality, what is it that we should do? And should we do anything different from the rest of the world as we look at electrification of our transport? I think this is what is really important for us to understand. So first, let's look at the mobility pattern. And this slide is not from any sample survey, but it's a census 2011 slide. And if you look at the pie on the left top, 30%, which show that actually people, 30% of Indians don't travel to work. And this is all travel to work, all urban. It does not include any agricultural workforce. So almost a third of population lives in so close proximity to where they work, they don't commute. But let's look at some of the other major modes of transport. So 23% on foot, which is walking, and 13% each on bicycles and two-wheelers. Cars are only 3% and taxi another 3%. So if you look at the personal mode of transport, two-wheelers are the predominant mode of transport which is used in our country. And it's almost uh, 4.5 times more than cars that are used for people to travel to work. Right? So that's one we have to consider that in mind. Second is that if you look at the sales of data from the vehicles which are sold, and these are all obviously pre-COVID numbers, but the bulk of the vehicles that are sold in India are two-wheelers. And this is only motorized vehicles which I am talking about, which is almost 76% vehicles are two-wheelers. And if you include commercial vehicles, and if you include passenger vehicles which are which cost less than 10 lakhs, then we are looking at almost 98% of our fleet, which is either two-wheelers or commercial vehicle, public transport vehicle, or small cars. And cars which are in excess of 10 lakhs, which one can equate with some other foreign standards, whether it is Europe or the US, that is less than 2% of the fleet. So our electrification would be slightly different from the images of Tesla that we see from some of the other countries around the world. So that is something we have to keep in mind. The third important thing we have to keep in mind is that if you look at the share of modes in big city, 5 million, 50 lakh plus city, then again, walking and public transport almost form close to 85% of the trip. And in any given time, two-wheelers are much more used than cars. In fact, cars are close to motorized three-wheelers. So three-wheelers, two-wheelers, and public transport would make a bulk of the transport mode that is used in travel in big cities. These are all 5 million plus cities. So that is something which we have to keep in mind. Now, let's look at how long do Indians travel. And again, this is from census, is that almost 70% of our trips are less than 5 kilometers, which is very short distance trips. And trips in excess of 10 kilometers are almost 15-16%. So Indians, one, they travel on smaller form factors, which was evident earlier, but they also travel less. And this is very distinctly different from, let us say, some of these North American cities where people live outside, they travel to work inside, because in India, we have one, high densities, we have a lot of mixed use development. And therefore, because of which the trip lengths are comparatively shorter in India. So that's another important point to be kept in mind. And one more important point is that if you look at travel speeds, the average vehicle speed in India is less than 25 kilometers per hour. And if you come to the peak hour speeds, that number from 25 will come anywhere between 15 to 18 kilometers per hour. So not only we travel less, we also travel much slower. In fact, almost half or even 1/3 of what some of the Western countries do, because of the amount of vehicles they have, but also the amount of road space that they have. So that's something to be kept in mind. And last thing is, if you look at the temperature, and the reason why this is very important for us to understand is that temperatures does have a very significant impact on the battery life. So easily, most of the cities will experience temperatures in excess of 40 degrees centigrade in summers. In fact, in a city like Delhi, where I'm currently talking from, the temperatures go in excess of 45 degrees in summer, which means you need to have a battery which will be shorter in life and will kind of require frequent replacement as well. So, just to summarize, one, the bulk of the vehicle in India that are sold are small personal vehicles, public transport and goods vehicle, high-end cars, which are very common in Western countries. That market is less than 2% in India. Share of walking and motorized two-wheeler and three-wheeler is probably the largest share of any motorized trips in India, which is the bulk of the travel happens either on two-wheelers or shared transport, public transport, or shared two-wheelers and three-wheelers. Fourth important point, we travel slowly, less than 25 kilometers per hour, and we have an ambient temperature that exceeds 40 degrees in summer and even 45 degrees. So all this points out that the way we look at battery technology, it has to be substantively different from what the West is looking at, because of these very important factors: low trip lengths, smaller form factors, lower speeds, as well as higher temperature. And that is what is important to keep in mind as we look at evolving battery technologies. And there is a very detailed work which is which has been done, and you can kind of look at this from the guidance document, which is done by WRI India, Shakti. But I thought I'll highlight this point, and then I will hand it over to the panel for taking the conversation forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amit sir, for this insightful presentation and setting the tone for today's program. Before that, let me just see if everyone is with me. Can you just click all the virtual thumbs up or likes?
Hi, Pallab. Where is the thumbs up?
It's at the bottom, sir. There are a lot of emojis you can use upon. Okay, everyone, should we start the panel discussion now? Okay. So now, without any further delay, let's begin our first session on battery as a service and battery swapping. And to discuss this, we have in the panel with us Mr. Nitish Arora, who is the lead consultant, Natural Resource Defense Council, who will also be moderating the session. Mr. Girish Nagpal, the CEO and co-founder of Metroride. Mr. Akash Gupta, Jeep Electric. Mr. Kedar Soman, e-bike Go. And Mr. Dheeraj Mani Chaurasia is the head vehicle integration, Top Motors. So now I welcome all our esteemed panelists on the screen and requesting Nitish sir to lead the discussions. But before that, I would just like to make a small announcement for all of our attendees. If you have any questions during the discussion, please post them in the Q&A box. Our panelists will take those questions at the end of the discussion. Over to you, Nitish sir.
Thanks, Pallab. Good afternoon, everyone. Many thanks for joining in. We have a very exciting panel of discussants and speakers today, and we look forward to some exciting discussions. I think day one majorly talked about the utilities of electric vehicles and the zero emission vehicles and the overall climate goals that India had. But this session focuses primarily on battery swapping and EV charging infrastructure. To begin with, I would first like to go to the practitioners in terms of how they are deploying EV solutions on ground, any challenges that they encountered, what have been their experiences, building upon Amit's presentations, because there were some interesting perspectives on mobility patterns that they had for battery designing, vehicle designing, and so on and so forth, particularly the temperature in the Indian conditions. To begin with, I first moved to Kedar Soman from e-bike Go. Kedar, e-bike Go has done millions of kilometers on ground, and you have the experience of running those vehicles now. What implications that you see that the temperature, that the controlled charging, because battery swapping, one of the biggest value proposition is that you can charge in a controlled environment. So how about controlled charging has impacted the battery life? And what have your experiences in terms of when the temperature shoots to extreme heats of 45 plus degrees, 50 degrees Celsius? How does the charging pattern, even the charging timing gets affected because of that? So I think I would first like to hear on those perspectives, and then we move ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Nitish. And thanks, Hemant and team, for giving me this opportunity to present. Glad to be here with all the fellow panelists. Coming to the specific question that Nitin, you're asking, the effect of temperature and the controlled charging. Yes, we have e-bike has done millions of kilometers, and we have a huge amount of data, hundreds of gigabytes of data available with us that we get from the telematics devices and the charging, the charging characteristics when the vehicle was charged, how long it took to charge, what was the starting SOC, ending SOC, and things like that. Going with the what Amit presented at the beginning. Even we did a lot of analysis, and we have been continuously doing that lot of analysis. The analysis that begins from the travel patterns, and on our side we did some analysis, and we sort of came out with these major buckets of travel patterns. One travel pattern was and I'm talking to B2C market, or in general, two-wheeler market specifically, not four-wheeler market or anything like that, because two-wheeler is our entire business. Well, primarily, people use the vehicle for commute. Then people use the vehicle for chores. Then people use the vehicle for business. Their whole business runs on two-wheeler. And then there is a leisure. There is a leisure travel, and then there is a random travel. So commute is very clear. You go from home to work. You come from work to home. The time is specific, and everything is very well determined. I mean, what you really need is more like a control, and the vehicle needs to be there. Vehicle needs to be charged at that time. And for chores, it is more adjustable. You get out of the house, you go to bank, you go to grocery store, that kind of stuff. You can do it like now, or you can do it like a couple of hours later. So there is some flexibility as far as what you need in terms of vehicle charging is considered. Business is the most stressing pattern. Your entire livelihood depends on your vehicle, whether you do a delivery or whether you are like a medical representative, or if you don't have a charged vehicle, you cannot get out of the house. And then there is a leisure pattern. This is you just going out, and as you know, in India, two-wheeler is also mode of transport for families. Like two man and wife and two kids can go on a two-wheeler. So that is a little bit more flexible. And then there is random pattern. Occasionally you go to airport, or occasionally you go to train station or something like that. And we are primarily dealing in the business area. So what we found out was the fact that your whole livelihood depends on that vehicle poses a lot of constraints on the vehicle. And there have been several challenges. One challenge has been the technology, or like the not technology per se, but rather use or deployment of the technology. Too many of the vehicles that we see in today's market, and we have so far in eBuyGo analyzed performance of 14 or 15 leading two-wheelers, electric two-wheelers that are running. Many of them do not have a very good quality BMS or a very good quality charger. And that leaves a lot to be desired. And I suppose that they are targeting the vehicle for a particular market like B2C, and then whatever they are making is sufficient for that market. However, even as you see every now and then, there are charging problems. There is a battery fire or things like that. And we have worked with some companies who have done extensive research in this area. And consistently, we have found out that the charging temperature, the temperature at which you charge, it makes a big difference in terms of battery life. So there have been some companies who are making, chargers that actually cool down your battery when it is being charged. And we have found that there is actually improvement in the performance of the battery on an overall life cycle of the battery. So as far as driving conditions and temperature are concerned, definitely some chemistries are more impacted by the temperature than others. NMC is somewhat more impacted. Lithium ferrous, that chemistry is more stable to temperature. So we have been choosing more and more of that, even though it is a little bit more heavy, and it is state of charge prediction is a little bit more tricky. These have been our findings on a high level, and overall we do believe that battery as a service and controlled charging has more benefits than disadvantages. Of course, in business scenario, the disadvantage is that you have to have a battery available when you need. You cannot go to a swapping station and not do your business because you don't have battery. So those are a few challenges.
Perfect. I think that's an operational perspective. That's bringing very important insight, while battery manufacturers, the designers as well, even on the chemistry side. Now let me move to Akash. I think Akash has also joined in, as he has been another pioneer, and I would say in the last mile delivery space, deploying battery swapping solutions. Akash, what I would like to hear from you is that what have been Zip's experience in terms of deploying these battery swapping stations, building these alternative dependable solutions for the petrol pumps. And apart from that, how this could be scaled up when we talk about in terms of form factors, three-wheelers, L5 category, because that is one category that is seeing more attraction now with
Yeah.
the likes of e-commerce companies committing to go EV.
Right.
So, and
So
how does that?
great.
Yeah,
Sorry for joining in late. Yeah. Sorry. Carry on, Nitesh. Yeah.
yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So sorry for joining late. Hello, everyone. So quickly on battery swapping, so there are three products that we are talking about. One is a two-wheeler, second is a three-wheeler, and third is a four-wheeler, right? So for electrification and massification of EVs, right, and together to save the planet, I think let's address each of these, one by one. So we've done a lot of work on battery swapping ourselves, right? We've deployed almost 50 swap stations in multiple, hubs across the country, mostly in Delhi NCR, but some in Bangalore, some in Hyderabad, and a bunch of other places. What we feel is that this technology, on especially two-wheelers, is evolving with fast charging, to the picture, with more, mileage from a single battery can also be driven, right? And in those cases, we are in double thoughts right now, whether we should build the entire story on charging only, or we should look at swapping also as a solution, especially for two-wheelers, right? Because if you are able to give a driver, let's say, a 150-kilometer bike, then essentially is sorted for the day. There is, there's a little bit cost involved, but I think it's fine, is what we've realized. Over a TCO of 3 to 4 years life, it works out pretty fine, right? That's what we felt on two-wheelers. Three-wheelers, essentially, I think a lot of work has been done by multiple players on the swapping space, right? We've done pilots with many. I think initial teething concerns are there, but I'm sure they'll all be sorted, right? With the better mileages on the initial batteries that you have, because the only thing that swapping is not solving at the moment is the scale, right? It has to be everywhere to make it acceptable for a lot of people, right? And it's currently a chicken and egg, that I want to deploy something in Greater Noida, and there are no swap stations, and hence I cannot expand, right? So that's the tricky portion that we are catching up onto as the entire infrastructure. Because and what I also feel, that a fleet operator would not want to build the swapping infra himself, right? Because it's like running two separate businesses. So which is the logistics is different of batteries, the tech is different, and the management and the manpower is slightly different than managing a driver and managing the fleet, right? Which is what Zip essentially does. So we are open to partnerships, who if there are teams who are scaling up quite aggressively and go hand in hand with us in multiple cities together, addressing hub by hub. I think those are things that can still work out, but still we are in the finding out phase at the moment with the right partners. Especially, and for four-wheelers, I think fast charging is the way, right? Because those batteries are very heavy. I don't know how you can solve it by swapping. And similar is with buses and the other higher, the more further you go into the bigger vehicles, then fast charging is the way that we are also seeing, essentially way to go. And now there are companies which are doing 15 minutes charging on two-wheelers, three-wheelers also. Obviously, the battery costs are not justifying right now, but maybe we are open to all those ideas as it.
Perfect. I think that's an important consideration while we consider the value proposition of swapping across the use cases and across the form factors, be it two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and four-wheelers. But what I would like to really pick up what Akash has said is that swapping is not helping solve the scale effect, or not bring the scale effect game. So here I would possibly go to Girish in terms of how have been your experience. So one of the biggest value proposition that we see in swapping is uh, by separating the vehicle from the battery, it allows the user every time to upgrade to the next level of performance as the new next generation batteries becomes available. But despite that, we haven't seen that battery swapping cutting the ice, particularly in the two-wheeler personal use case segment. Although there are issues related to standardization, interoperability concerns among the OEMs that still remain. But how, in your perspective, one could build the ecosystem for swapping so that what Akash said, that swapping is there everywhere one needs to build because it's a high capex game, initially low on ROI, and so on and so forth.
Correct. Well, at the onset, thank you, Nitish, for leading and moderating this discussion, and a heartfelt thanks to eMobility Plus as well for organizing and putting us all on the same stage. Well, let's look at swapping because we've been using extensively the swap systems. So there are still definitely concerns, but for me as a fleet owner, the more my vehicle runs, the more profitable I can be. Because if I have to optimize the usage of my vehicle and the driver, it is absolutely goes without saying. The more he runs, the more money he brings on table, right? But there definitely are issues which I'm sure you already touched upon briefly. So let's talk about the standardization or the interoperability or availability of the stations everywhere, like Akash was talking about, or even the cost, I would say, is at this juncture is not that feasible for most use cases, and also the mileage per charge. But if you look at long run, definitely there is so much happening because we see disruptions not on a yearly basis but on a monthly basis. There is so much of work happening, right from the chemistry going beyond just the rare earth metals and getting into the solid state, or even a sodium coming into picture, which people are developing and saying it's going to be 5-6 times more effective, right? So definitely I see that there, for a use case like ours and also the B2B deliveries, whether it be e-commerce or otherwise, or even passenger B2B, I see there is definitely a big market for swap and a very bright future. Definitely all these issues which we spoke about need to be sorted, and the more EV becomes more mainstream, I'm sure this is by default going to change, because today we are talking about not many people owning the EVs, right? So the more EVs on road, definitely the chicken and the egg story gets resolved. The more, the better the chemistry becomes, the other issues of the range anxiety and other things gets resolved. And definitely the ROI is all dependent on that. The kind of money you're putting it, it's a game of economies of scale. The more people using it, and all these teething issues like Akash was mentioning, once they are resolved, so the swap is here to stay, is what I believe. Definitely, there would be a lot of use cases. You spoke about personal mobility. Personal mobility, I personally feel, is not an ideal case scenario, especially given the fact India is, Amit spoke about most of our rides, 70% to be precise, being less than 5 kilometers, right? And there is data available wherein 80% of our users run less than 25 kilometers a day for daily commute. So in that kind of use case where 90% of the time your vehicle is parked in your office or home, I don't think swap does make too much of sense, unless the battery is so expensive that I want to reduce the capex of my vehicle itself. That's the only advantage. But it comes with a lot of caveats. So I think personal mobility is still to evolve for a swap kind of use case, but for a B2B, I don't see it as a any complex problem. It is here to stay. Definitely, there are some challenges which we face on a daily basis. I'm not saying it's a smooth sail, but the very reason or the very advantage of me getting a chance to run my vehicle 24/7, I think that solves it all. If I can do that, I can actually do multiple use cases, serve a lot of customers, have multiple drivers on a single vehicle, and optimize it to the best to ensure that my economies of scale are healthy. So that's what my take is on that, Nitish.
Perfect. Thanks. So I think it's coming out really well that all of us agree that the value proposition that swapping holds for B2B cases is well established and does make a commercial sense there. But one of the biggest impediment that we have been seeing that all fleet operators have been facing is the number of vehicle models that are coming up compatible with the swapping, because there has been not been enough consensus among the vehicle OEMs. So towards this, I would like to now build on that and move to Dheeraj. In terms of, we have seen that the value proposition of swapping is getting well established, but we haven't seen OEMs coming forward with compatible models on battery swapping. And that is why fleet operators have started their research and R&D processes in building their own customized used vehicles as well. For example, Zip also has, e-bike now also has their vehicle designed for themselves for their specific use case. How do you see that battery swapping fits in for the various EV segments? And do we see some form of consensus in terms of where vehicle OEMs, in terms of there is a consensus in terms of the interoperability issues, because this is what the prime concerns that the DST and BIS have been bringing again and again, and that which has been delaying that EV battery swapping as a proposition. So over to you, Dheeraj.
Yeah, thanks Nitish. And before I start, I'll thanks Pallav and Hemant to just bring me up once again here and meet with the fellow members here. So yeah, well, Nitish rightly said. So I think that's another challenge which I see, the standardization of the batteries. So we worked with a Japanese client, and we deployed, I think, 30 vehicles with their solutions, and we traveled more than 150,000 kilometers. And we that was again that was a good experience. We captured almost per second data of the vehicles, and we had many things to learn in terms of battery as well as in terms of vehicle uses, how it is being done. That's all on three-wheeler I'm talking about. And definitely, before we started, there's many things. So OEM is always worried about the change. Again, changing the batteries considers change in the system. And definitely, the bodies and chassis are all is something that has to be fixed so that they can continue with the production. And this is a challenge where when you switch over to batteries, nowadays we are talking about safety, and of course it is very important. And bringing that into consideration, every OEMs, the battery manufacturers, they have their own set of guidance how to operate. There's many things that falls into picture. They have different set of topology algorithms that run behind. We observe that it's not only battery management. We talk about battery management system inside the batteries. Here we are talking about the packs. There may be 2 packs, 3 packs, 4 packs that has to be swapped out from the vehicle. And you need to balance all these batteries. Then again, there comes a device we name a battery management unit. Apart from the system management that controls those batteries, it depends on how much power you want, and that defines how much batteries you want on top of the vehicle. There we worked, and this was another learning, and that you required on top of that. It's a management system that will be that of course can do. You have many topologies technically to handle those among the batteries. But again, I feel like when you change that, we must have a system battery management unit that talks and make all the batteries smarter to adapt with the vehicles. And that can be definitely I mean, that depends on the battery manufacturers what they want. With this experience, I think we had 3 level of safety that we considered on the vehicle, and with battery manufacturers as well. So every parameters starting with, I mean, on the cell level actually. So we have we used 4 packs there, 4 battery packs, and the decision was taken on the cell level configuration and the temperature on the compartment of the cells. So this was a way high safety aspects that we considered working with them. And apart from faults over the communication, we had analog the quick action against any external phenomenon can be taken. And definitely, I do agree that the constraint lies here on the dimension changes of the battery packs. If it is not standard, then it's a challenge for OEMs, because that again requires a good amount of time to design it, considering the safety aspects, either in terms of mechanical vibration or the fire, or all the safety features that has to be constrained with the lithium-ion cells. So I feel that, I mean, with that experience, we had, I think, more than 5,000 swaps that we did, and it was a good. I mean, that was an observation that's where we felt that since the battery lies when you charge the battery, it is there on the charging swap station, and you have a proper climatic condition that's maintained under that. So you do not worry about how I'm. So next anxiety is we discuss fast charging, and of course it has impact on the life of the batteries. This is what I think. What we observed with data, that the health of battery will be well maintained when we are going with on this swap concepts. Since you maintain the charging profile at your controlled environment, that's not has to be contained on the vehicle, as well as it removes the burden of management in terms of finance to the driver or who is going to own the vehicle. And I think lot many the constraint only was the proper standard that we need to have it. And when I say standard in terms of operating the batteries, including the topology technology behind that and the physical dimensions behind that, and of course it may take time to just mature in this segment, but I feel that it was a well and good experience there. The swapping technology has to be also placed apart from the BMS. There should be something that manages all the battery packs that you use on the vehicles.
Perfect. Understood. Thank you. I think I'll again move to Kedar here. I think Kedar, we have understood that what Dheeraj also highlighted, there are a few concerns that still remains with the vehicle OEMs and in their quest to build those compatible vehicles. But what we have seen that e-bike go specific to their use case have also gone about building, designing those vehicle for themselves. What had really had led to that process? And what's the value propositions that it really offers over the other products that are currently available in the market? I think you're on mute, possibly.
Yes, I didn't realize I was on mute. While we were working in the operations heavy business, as you know, fleet management, at one point we had this aha moment that, you know, because the very nature of electric powertrain or electric vehicles, it allows some opportunities that an internal combustion engine, the whole business of electric vehicle allows certain opportunities that are never possible with an internal combustion engine vehicle. An internal combustion engine vehicle, a dealer can never go to an OEM and say, hey, I want a specific type of vehicles built because I have this specific type of demand. Because the whole challenge in supply chain and building and everything is so enormous that only some big pocket company can handle it. And then if they are there, then they will control all the shots and they will create something that they can make millions of vehicles of particular type, and you have to live with that. What we realized was that we can spend some time and effort and we can create some vehicle or, you know, modify some existing vehicle that is available on the road, work with OEMs and tell them, hey, we are ordering in large volumes, so we want these and these and these changes, and we want this and these features specifically for the fleet we need, is not only possible, but it is economical on both sides. It works on both sides. Works also for the OEM and works also very well for us. Some small things like the extra range, a few kilometers extra range, or some extra power, or, you know, a specific type of charging requirement can solve so much of our business problems that it is totally worth considering, building or designing or putting efforts in designing the vehicle that you want. When we analyzed a whole lot of data, and as Akash also pointed out, we realized that a certain amount of range is more than sufficient for two-wheelers. However, what happens is in electric two-wheelers, when the SOC goes down, the state of charge goes down, especially when it goes down below 30% or so, then you will see some effect on torque. The vehicle torque suffers a little better. And in delivery type of scenario, imagine a scenario where there is a driver who is taking some, 30 kilograms of groceries or something, and they are doing these grocery runs, going to the warehouse, picking up groceries 4, 5, and then delivering place 1, place 2, place 3, going back. What happens is towards the end of the day, there comes a time when the driver has just making maybe last final round. They are picking up big load. And then they go to the first place, and that has this parking ramp that they need to climb. So their state of charge is going towards low. Their load is full. And the worst case scenario for an electric vehicle is it is fully loaded, maybe with 30, 35 kilograms, with a big heavy rider sitting on the vehicle. and the driver stops to ask someone, where is this apartment, where is this building, and then they are at the bottom of this ramp at 0 speed, and then they have to go up this ramp. That is where you need a whole lot of torque, and that is where if your SOC is less, then you will suffer. With this, if this is not delivering, then the driver gets frustrated because their income depends on number of deliveries, and then the whole their experience goes down. And in the large number of cases we are handling daily, we come across cases like this not so rarely, that they do come frequently. So this is where we realize that either a lot of people who are selling electric vehicles in India are straight importing from China, assembling and selling, and they are primarily targeting the B2C market, who is just, as Amit described, very short range, very slow speed, not a whole lot of load, just maybe personal commute or one people traveling. Or they are going with special designs and targeting high speeds and things like that, which either is not required. What we needed was a high torque vehicle, and then we did some work. That is when we put more efforts into customizing the design what we want, and that is where we work with some OEMs, and that's when we realized that that's where we get a lot of benefit by requesting a specific type of vehicle performance and specific type of charging performance.
Understood. I think there is another interesting question that has come into the chat box from Gaurav Dulwani, where he wanted to hear your perspectives, and Girish as well. What do the operators really do with the batteries once they reach the end of life? So any thoughts on the second use of the batteries or the end use?
Yes, we are right now, our whole lot of fleet expansion happened when the Corona pandemic began, because that's when the demand for delivery skyrocketed. And we have some batteries, many of our batteries are actually doing okay. Not some have definitely suffered degradation, but they are still in warranty, so we are getting them exchanged from the manufacturers or working with the manufacturers. Some batteries are reaching end of life, and we are working with some companies that will help us to do the second life of the battery. And the most typical usage scenario for the second life of battery seems to be putting them in the solar power plant. That is what we are finding right now. So we are working with partners who are creating or giving us ability to or making it easy for us to give the batteries a second life and use it. We have also explored possibility of just giving the batteries to someone to recycle, and if one battery has like 5 good cells and the other battery has some more like 5 good cells, then combining the good cells together from different batteries. We have done some experimentation, but the whole overall cost and safety and all, subsidy, all those consideration considering, we are as of right now not sure about that approach. But the first approach that we discussed, the second life, that seems to be a promising approach.
Indeed, I think definitely the second life use case of the batteries does make a sense. And here operators could also consider partnering with the discoms, putting these batteries into the energy storage projects, as well as building these large centralized charging hubs as well. As far as recycling is now, even I would agree that requires a scale. At this point, recycled lithium is almost 5 times costlier than the virgin lithium. So although it doesn't make business sense at this point. Girish, would you like to add anything here in terms of what has been your experience? Also, I'll also chime in with another top up on that, is that you talk about that Metro Ride is doing quite a bit of swapping stations. Now, we know that swapping stations require much more electricity load compared to a fast charging or a slow charging stations, which makes this capex heavy business all the more heavy with the upstream power infrastructure costs. So what, in your considerations, how discoms can enable or unlock this opportunity by either annualizing it, the grid upgradation costs over a long period of time, and so on and so forth, or there are other mechanisms to do that?
Sure. So first and foremost, see, these are the times when we got to collaborate, because if you try doing everything on your own, you definitely would lose focus of your core business. So our core business is to ensure a smooth, cheaper and sustainable mobility, and that's what we focus on. So we've tied up for charging infra for the swap systems with a partner of ours, Sun Mobility, and they do this for us. And having worked with them so closely, I understand it's not a very smooth process. Like you said, all those things are actually good to have in the long run. For now, I think Descoms, the best thing they could do is streamlining the process for the charging infrastructure companies, which itself is a huge challenge in today's date, if you ask me. The rest of the incentives coming in definitely would be icing on the cake, but for now, I think we've got to just bake the cake for them first. So just making the process, because ultimately this is going to help them as well, right? So for now, there are a lot of teething issues whenever you are setting up a new charging station. So they do it in few of our facilities as well. So I understand the whole process. So I think if the Descoms can join hands with such players and make the whole process smooth, so that's going to be a win-win for all of us. And so that's my take on that. And talking about the second life, of course, we've not reached yet there. So fortunately, unfortunately, we also started during the pandemic, and we've still not exhausted the batteries. So still working on with decent performance. Having said that, we also used a few fixed battery vehicles, and the OEMs actually, whenever there was a downgrade of or the battery life dying, they actually did refurbishing and did the change of a few cells which were gone. So that's what has happened, and we've not faced that too much because we've been operation into last 8-9 months. So currently, but there are definitely plans. So we've worked with our partner companies on, if that comes in, how do we actually ensure that the because the range itself in current form also is a challenge, right? If it falls, it's going to become a deterrent for the business. So definitely that needs to be ensured that it is refurbished whenever the time comes. And of course, second life, or you just refurbish it internally. That's a take our partner takes normally.
Great. On point one, I would also connect with you separately, as we have been working with Bureau of Energy Efficiency and all the discoms in streamlining the process of charging infrastructure. And this is where we are coming up now with the how-to manual, which is what steps Indian cities can follow while building their charging infrastructure. So, but an important question that again had popped up into the chat box, I'll here point towards Dheeraj and Kedar as well. Do you see solid state batteries coming into the Indian EV industry soon, in any near time? Or they still remain a costly value proposition?
Okay, so I'll take a first cut on this question. Solid state batteries, as anything that is in the research phase, and then when you put it in the mainstream business, right, there is a whole piece of journey that needs to happen for that technology. Once it is proven in the labs, once it is proven in over there, right, once you are able to take one piece and make that one piece or proof of concept or even prototype do what it's supposed to do, then making a 1 million pieces of that do what they're supposed to do in real life, that's still a whole lot of journey that needs to happen. Solid state batteries, not just we are definitely looking at it, and we are interested in it, and we are hopeful that they will happen. There are multiple things that are on the horizon, that those zinc oxide chemistries, or then there is also one company in the United States working on a different type of redox battery. So that is there, and there are people who are working with combination batteries, supercapacitor and lithium-ion batteries. So multiple things are on horizon. Which one of them will succeed, that will remains to be that we will see what happens. However, one thing is for sure, that in next 5 years or so, we will see a whole lot of changes in battery technology, and we will see multiple types of mature solutions that will cater to different business segments. And I think that is that is a natural state, or like for internal combustion engine, eventually we went not just into petrol, but like there was diesel, there was CNG, or a lot of different options, and obviously a lot of different types of vehicles and a lot of different. So we will see that even in electric vehicles. Right now, lithium-ion and its variant seems to be like highly dominant, and eventually we see multiple options. Solid states or batteries will definitely be one of the options, I think.
Great. Any thoughts?
Yeah, so I truly support the opinions of Mr. Kedar, because experiencing the cell chemistry, it is a separate learning that like mining IC have a good set of learning experience when they started, and this is where I even also see that until it is scaled to millions and have been experienced so through that it is good to go with in front of customers, and this cycle will definitely have a good gap. So before 5 years, I don't think that it will be a possibility where people are experiencing the current chemistries and the whatever available things are still present, and things and technology they are doing. So there are many parameters that has to be considered working with lithium ion cells, and if it is well proven, data sets are very good, and it is experienced, then I think adoption will also take some time to just adapt in terms of technology, and putting on to market will definitely again a next phase, what I feel. So I feel also that within 5 years it's tough to see that, but again since EV is booming, any technology that changes is something that people are monitoring what is going on, and this is where this such things will definitely will position where people will see such possibilities, but the implementation will take time.
Agreed. I think the technological advancement is happening. We are on the learning curve at the moment.
Right.
For this technological advancement, what does this mean for the most vulnerable people at the lowest levels of pyramid? So, Girish, Kedar, I'll again jump. What difference this technology has brought to the livelihood opportunities for the most vulnerable? Would it be sufficient or safe enough to say that their livelihood or their incomes have gone up by 30 to 40 odd %? Is this helping them, someone at the lowest level of the pyramid?
Okay. I'll add my 2 cents, and I'll let Girish add on top of that, if that's okay. So one thing is that the answer to this very specific question, let's be honest, it's not as simple. There are going to be livelihoods. They will undergo some challenge in this transition, and there are going to be livelihoods that will benefit, and that will will make life a little bit easier for them, and create more opportunities. Some jobs, some livelihoods at the lower rungs of society, they will be challenged. A lot of the side of the road garages that do a lot of auto mechanics work, when things move to electric, the whole auto maintenance world, the auto maintenance part that goes down. The electric vehicles, as you know, they don't need as much maintenance, and that has been one of the key reasons why the whole dealership model of automobile is also not, dealers are not excited to sell electric vehicles oftentimes, because it doesn't give them per vehicle as much service revenue, which is actually their high margin revenue. So that lot of jobs in that typical traditional automobile business, some of the manufacturing jobs or some of the service jobs, they will be challenged, and there will be some disruption on that front. Now, at the same time, because the per kilometer cost of transporting something will go down because of change to electric vehicle, then that opens up a whole lot of opportunities in the transport segment. That the food delivery, as you see, or the any other type of delivery, grocery delivery, all those type of jobs, ride share, Uber, Ola, or all these things, we will see increase in those jobs. For a typical restaurant, imagine having to buy a place on the corner of a big road that costs a whole lot of real estate, but they are able to have the same amount of profit by being somewhere inside. But because of Zomato or Swiggy, everyone sees them and everyone is able to order from them, checking reviews, then they save a whole lot of money on real estate. And then they are able to put that in their business and maybe hire some more people. And the people who transport or take the food from point A to point B, they also get more business. So I see we are going to see transition. This is going to be a complicated and needs to be carefully navigated. Some of this can be political hot potatoes. And some people's job will be under threat to some extent, and there will be a whole lot of new opportunities opening overall as well. But overall, I'm optimistic. Overall, I think in 5 to 10 years' time, we will see more positives than negative.
Great. Girish, you would like to add anything here?
Thanks, Kedar, for summing it up so very well. So there definitely are some clear gainers, and there are people who would, at least in the short term, face the brunt of it, and we can see that happening already in the local garages. So if I specifically talk about the people who we cater to, the auto guys or the e-rickshaw drivers. So if you look at the auto guy, typically who runs a CNG or an LPG auto, for him, immediately if he shifts to electric mobility, definitely it's a huge bump in his profit margins. But that comes again with a caveat that he has to invest in a huge capex. So if you compare the OEM X works or X showroom cost of both the vehicles with battery, if he buys, definitely it's much more expensive than his traditional ICE engine vehicle, right? And if he buys without a battery, then in terms of run cost, there is hardly any difference. So this guy is in a conundrum as of now, because I think it's again a long-term game, like Kedar covered. So today, if you ask on the face of it, either he invests more in capex to have a lesser per run cost, or if he invests more, then the run cost is actually the same. So there is no immediate gratification for these people in the pyramid, if you ask me. But in the long run, definitely with the battery chemistry becoming better and the prices coming down, definitely they would, at least if not more, be getting at least 20 to 25 or 30% benefit in terms of what they take home, because the maintenance and the run cost is going to reduce. And even the capex, the moment it comes in line with a regular vehicle, definitely they will be gaining in the long run.
Agreed. I think if I look at the chat box, seems our audience is very much interested in getting the battery chemistries work. There, Kiran Makam, founder Radboats, she's interested in hearing more about lithium-ion versus lithium polymer battery use case for EVs. If our speakers can share are there any pros and cons? So anyone possibly, Dheeraj, Kedar. Any thoughts there?
I'll share very briefly, and perhaps Dheeraj is very well suited person to add more thoughts on this. That particular question can possibly a topic for whole another discussion, comparison between battery chemistries and what pros and cons versus one or the other. Some very specifically, even as we know, in lithium-ion there are 6 chemistries, and there is NMC, there is lithium polymer, there is iron phosphate, and the polymer batteries, as we know, their form factor, they can be pouch batteries, so they can be very well packaged. Their size can be compact, and there is safety may be a little bit better than lithium-ion. However, there is also costs that are involved, and then charging performance. I will have to again jump and see. We have ourselves as a company have mostly been focused on the iron phosphate and the lithium-ion chemistry. Polymer batteries, as such, we have not done a lot of work directly. However, I do know some people are experimenting in that area, and some people are providing lithium polymer batteries, and that is a promising option. One of the most, the weight and size seems to be something very attractive. The number of cycles is also more than sufficient. Cost-wise, I think the lithium polymer batteries, there seems to be some concern, and I'll have to dig in and check the statistics again and see the trends where they are. Typically, when we think of lithium polymer, we think of them in applications such as cell phones, where the power requirements are in a narrow range. However, that's not to say that polymer batteries are not capable. Sorry, it doesn't feel like I'm giving a very clear answer, but these are very high-level parameters that I have, right on the tip of my tongue. I can give answer. I think their most attractive property is their form factor. You can fit them into any form. That makes sizing and everything like small size, which is very attractive for two-wheelers.
So yeah, I think it's a long subject of discussion. So if we stick to the theme, so basically, yeah. So as Mr. Kedar mentioned, so form factor, something like it depends on the use case and the application you are designing for. Like cell phones, definitely, if we go for then polymer, of course, lies as a good selection. Also, in terms of the capacity for charge and discharge rates, we prefer that also. That's again considers that decision call of decisions. Where if you see the drones, where initial torque and power requirement is very high, there the use case of polymer is well defined in terms rather than lithium. Sizing, form factor, as mentioned. So typical, I think explanation has already been covered by Mr. Kedar, that we can consider, not going deep into the chemistries.
Great. I think we are almost at the time, and I would like to thank all the panelists for their sharing their thoughts, their perspectives. I think these have really enlightened up our participants as well. Uh, I would now like to hand it over to Pallab to take us through.
Great. Thank you so much, all of our esteemed panelists, for putting up this really insightful discussions. A very special thank to Nitish sir, that the way you combine the various interests of the industry and related those interests to the panel of experts and made this discussion very constructive. Your moderation of the panel was brilliant. I much appreciate it, and I would just like to give you a clap. So can we hear a round of applause for all our speakers? I am sure if you have been in a physical event, we could have gotten standing ovation for this amazing panel.
Thank you, Pallab.
Thank you once again. And now we will be having a short break, and you all can continue with the networking sessions. But don't forget, don't forget to join us again at like 4:15 p.m. sharp. We'll be back again with our second session.
Thanks, Pallab, and thanks entire team.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome back, attendees. It's time now for our second session. I hope everyone is very keen to enter the second. We will begin this session with one more interesting presentation from one of our partners, Stoichiometric. And to present this, we have with us Mr. Venkat Rajaraman, CEO, founder, Stoichiometric. So I would request you to please come up on the screen and do the needful.
Thank you, Hemant. So can I go ahead and then start my presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir,
Thank
you
you.
can. Yes.
I am sharing my screen. Please let me know once you are able to see this.
Yes, sir.
Is my screen? Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Hemant. Hi, good afternoon. I realize that there are participants from all over the world. So good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Venkat Rajaraman, founder, CEO of Sigmi Energy. And, I am going to be talking about, a very interesting topic, which is the smart battery technology. The topic is very heavy topic, and I also believe that I'm not even fully qualified to speak about it. I know I'm not a researcher. I'm definitely not a technologist. I'm going to speak from a practitioner's perspective. But even from that, I think this topic is very interesting. So allow me to spend then maybe next 8-9 minutes to talk about my perspective, and then of course there is a fantastic panel of panelists, and then we will have more Q&A during the panel. Before I start, I thought it is appropriate to talk about Sigmi, not so much in more detail, but just to give a perspective of what we do, and then how is it relevant to what this discussion today. We are a company which is singularly focused on energy storage, energy storage for ESS applications, for telecom, commercial, industrial, as well as for EV application. We deployed our first battery deployment happened in 2017. These are all for ESS distributed application. And we are an incubator from IIT Madras. So we also won this IEEE award for solar DC and smart BMS, a couple of years back. As part of a startup journey, we also raised some funding, and then we got one of our microgrid project, got this microgrid conference award, in 2019. So far, we have done 75 megawatt hour of energy storage, and we have also powered 15,000 electric vehicle. And mostly they are, two-wheelers and three-wheelers. And my perspective that I'm going to be talking about is with this background. So with that, let me jump into the topic at hand and then see how much of justification that I can do. Battery technologies, right? One thing we can all say, this battery technology, hasn't changed in the last 100 years, right? I'm sure, a similar one, we would have studied 20, 30 years back. You have a cathode, you have an anode, you have a separator, you have an electrolyte, and your battery is there, right? So, seemingly nothing has changed. But also, if you look at what has happened, especially from a lithium-ion, I think this is, as somebody was saying, this is the decade of lithium-ion, right? 2020 is the decade of lithium-ion. It all started, when Dr. John Goodenough and they have done this pioneering work, which was taken over at Sony. So 1980s is when it basically there was some movement towards the lithium-ion battery began. After Sony's commercialization, you saw there is a more adoption of it, and of course, once the smartphones got released, with the iPhone release in 2007, there has been no looking back. There has been gigafactories after gigafactories. There are Teslas, there are Panasonics, there are LG. So it's like absolutely so active that though it's seemingly it looks nothing has changed, yet everything has changed, right? So that's the broad context with which that I would like to talk about. So given that as a background, I thought I'll start off with very interesting thing that we all read. In a few days back, I'm sure many of us have seen this news where the Hertz car rental company in US, they had placed an order for 100,000 electric vehicles from Tesla, right? So the moment this came, Tesla's market cap crossed $1 trillion. Okay, and of course, this particular deal alone is expected to earn about $4.2 billion of revenue. The eyes pop up, right, with this kind of, with this kind of one. And the question is, why did this happen, right? People talked about oh, Tesla had this, great supercharger network, and the Hertz has an access to that. That could be the tipping point. The other thing is the, traditional one. There is a carbon emission reduction. There is an energy security. You're not dependent on, imported fuels. There is a clean and green transportation. There is a lower cost of ownership. All of them were touted as a tipping point for this deal. But I think, the amazing thing that what I read in, Forbes very recently is it is none of this. The tipping point is the convenient user experience for the Hertz, the rental car, the folks who rent the car. For those of us who have rented the car in US, we know the old-fashioned way of doing it, right? You get down at the airport, take the shuttle bus, go to the car rental place, wait in line, provide all your details, pick up your car keys, go to the garage, locate your car. It has been, very unpleasant user experience, right? For several of us who have done that. Now that got changed with the Tesla's unique connectivity feature, right? So today, all they need to do is, you get down at the airport, go to the parking lot, locate your Tesla, unlock it, and drive off, right? You don't need any of these intermediate steps which are there, and that's possible with connectivity. I am tying it back to the, the topic of this, discussion today. And of course, Turo is a company which is doing a peer-to-peer car sharing, so that if you own a Tesla, you can rent it out, seamlessly. And amazing thing is, India started it off. For example, Bounce. You have a fleet operator where you can do a dockless mobility, right? I can go there, pick up a Bounce vehicle wherever that is on the road, unlock it with my app, and then drive off. I think this is what technology can bring us, right? It is, this is one example of what technology could do. So given that as a background, I thought I'll take a few slides about the main topic of discussion, which is so the key point is connectivity is disrupting mobility in a way that we have not imagined, right? This is something that we cannot even fathom, what are all the possibilities that could happen. But clearly, this is this is going to happen, and this is going to happen with the onset of this electric mobility. Okay, coming back to the topic at hand, I'm sure there is going to be a lot more discussion on this, but I just want to take just a minute to talk about the battery is an electrochemical device, right? There is not much intelligence that can be done. All the intelligence is built on top of that, right? Predominantly, the first level happens from a battery management system. Of course, there are other levels that can happen on top of that. Today, this is a big topic of discussion, right? Today, people talk about hardware BMS, people talk about smart BMS, and so on. The differences are not very visible, right? When we talk about a smart battery translates directly to a smart BMS. Though this shows up in this way, right? You have this configurable cutoff values, you have a configurable, currents, you can have a, a better cell balancing, you can have a better communication, you can have a better, algorithms for SOH computations, better dynamic threshold settings, which are all possible in smart BMS. I thought I'll take 2-3 slides to really talk about what does it mean for, practitioners, what does it mean for users. So that was, I thought I'll spend, a few minutes on that. The most important thing for a battery is safety, right? So today, I think, we are talking about higher energy density, we are talking about higher cycle life, we are talking about so many parameters, but one parameter that takes a backseat in all of this battery discussion is that of safety. And safety is absolutely critical and essential. And one key feature of the smart BMS is that of a good cell balancing, right? Because again, the cells are electrochemical devices. No two cells are the same, and there is always going to be in a pack of module where there are a number of cells. There are few cells which are going to be slightly weak, and there are few cells which are going to be strong. If this balancing does not happen, the weak cell becomes weaker and strong cell becomes stronger. At some point of time, as it goes through the degradation and aging, the weak cell gives away. That results both in a safety incident, or that could also result in a poor battery performance, right? So again, the battery cell balancing happens on a smart BMS, and of course how much of the balancing current, how do you do it for a larger battery pack? These are all bigger discussions. Anyway, we can take some of this, during the Q&A. The second important one is the pre-charge, pre-discharge section. Again, what does it mean for us? So two things. One, especially if you are having a, an L5 loader kind of vehicle, slightly higher capacity vehicle, higher capacity battery pack. Initial, current, surge current is going to be very high. And if you allow the battery to discharge at that current, we are, compromising on the life of the battery, because, the life of the battery directly proportional to how much of, how fast you are drawing down the current from. This pre-charge, pre-discharge section allows you to throttle in such a way that you do not exceed the, the designed limitation for this. The same thing happens if the battery gets into a deep discharge. And when you want to charge it back, you do not want to charge it at a high current, but you throttle it in such a way that the battery can take it and then come back to the regular mode. Again, the pre-charge, pre-discharge, helps, in that way. This is a very important feature for a smart BMS, right? A dynamic overload cutoff. Today, for example, when you are, driving on maybe a, a flyover, when you have maybe a 500 kg of load on your loader, you may be needing a slightly larger current to be drawn for that, for a shorter duration. If you do not have a smart BMS which can accommodate that, you have two problems. One, the vehicle gets cut off, at whatever the single threshold that you have kept, or you relax the threshold so much that you affect both the, the life of the battery and compromise on the safety. Again, a dynamic overload where you allow, maybe a one-size discharge continuously, maybe a 2C discharge for a shorter duration, and so on and so forth, helps in, making sure that your life of the battery is increased. Maybe one more slide and then I'll jump onto this thing. So again, another smart BMS feature is a temperature dependent discharge, right? Again, today, India, if you see, we have a wide temperature variations between, Rajasthan to Bangalore to Chennai to, maybe, Leh, Ladakh in north. And the temperature plays a very important role to the life of the battery as well. So it depends on at what temperature you want to charge at what current. Again, the temperature dependent, discharge is a key feature where you know that, if you are at, very hot temperature, you don't allow the discharge to happen at a high current, thereby increasing the performance of the battery. So, it's all about trade-offs. You give something, but you gain something, but it is all handled at the, the smart BMS one. And the other most important, I know in the last session, speakers talked about it. Swapping is going to be critical. Maybe we'll talk about it more during the Q&A session. Battery swapping involves, just not a battery pack, but a vehicle that can talk to the charging station. The battery that can actually talk to the vehicle, and in turn they can communicate to the cloud so that you can do an authentication and approval and so on and so forth. All of them are done. For example, IIT Madras, the CB had come up with an LSVBCC protocol, for some of you who may be aware, which is a lock smart protocol for battery swapping. Again, you have a very clear set of commands for how the battery can communicate to the charger and EVSEs, and how the battery can communicate to the vehicle and so on and so forth. And we had implemented it for one of the EMobility, operators. So this is something that is going to happen because the lack of charging network in some which way will have to be compensated by, battery swapping infrastructure. This is again something, comes under, what could make it into a smart battery. And let me talk briefly about the next generation batteries, right? So today, if you look at it, the BMS, what does it do? One, it does the monitoring of all the key parameters inside the battery, temperature, voltage, current, and you do quite a bit of algorithms and estimations within the battery itself, and you display it in whatever way, right? In a smart BMS, this is predominantly what is done. The future one includes more algorithms, better computation, faster, computation, and so on, which could include just not the SOP, SOH, SOC, but also could include state of safety, isolating of the fault, thermal protection, and all of them. But the battery itself is moving from, a simple smart hardware which are there inside the battery pack, which has all of these features that we talked about. It is moving towards the cloud, right? There is, more complex models are getting modeled at the cloud level, and they take the real-time data from the battery pack and dynamically adjust the battery pack in such a way that you're optimizing it for the performance, optimizing it for safety, optimizing it for the life of the battery, and so on and so forth. And once you have this, this digital twin, as they call it, on the cloud, this also gives rise to so many applications that we have not thought about. We have seen earlier, what Tesla and Hertz had done, and again, you could have multiple mobile apps which could be beneficial to a, somebody who is, insuring your electric vehicle or batteries, or somebody who is, financing your electric vehicle. You could provide a whole bunch of information to them. So all of them happens at, predominantly at the battery level, and then gets percolated upwards. So the role of AI, big data, and analytics in next generation batteries is unimaginable for us. Lots of research work is being done, and for want of time, I'll not take much time on this, but I wanted to spend the last two slides on this very interesting thing that I have been reading for the last maybe 3, 4, 5 months or so. We know that the batteries are very complex non-linear systems, right? So to model a battery has been a research topic for a very long time, and there is a lot of work that is being done. The aging is also very diverse, mechanisms for aging, very significant device variability which are there, between, device to device and chemistry to chemistry. And of course, there is a dynamic operating conditions in terms of temperature, voltage, humidity, and so on and so forth. I wanted to sort of bring it back, to our this thing, the Stanford research which has been done, where they had used AI, across 124 commercially available LFP cells. Some of them are known to be good cells with high cycle life, and some of them are known to be, sort of a not so good cell which has a, lower cycle life. And the amazing thing, the results that happens out of it is, clearly now with this AI which is done with the data-driven modeling on these battery packs, one could actually predict if that cell or a battery is a good cell or a good battery in few hours, right? Typically you wait for 500 cycles, 1000 cycles to really get the degradation data. But with this kind of work, you can actually get it in few hours, right? You do a 5 cycles of fast charge, fast discharge. You will know, where, and that is with a 95% accuracy. Now imagine what could be, where this could be used, right? It could be used for, if I were a cell manufacturer, I could accelerate my cell development cycle, right? Because I have a faster means of telling whether, it's a good process or a bad process. I also have a, a rapid validation of my, manufacturing processes. And of course, if I am a battery pack manufacturer, I can sort and grade these cells very quickly. And if I were an end user, right, I can estimate the, my battery life, very quickly. So the point is, I think the AI could predict this lifetime performance in only hours. I think we are all, very early stages of, work which are yet to be, commercialized in a big way. There are, Tesla is doing a big work, GM is doing, but I think we still have a, long way to go. This paper, for some of you interested, I have, I have that, from a Nature's article. Very, very interesting work that is being done. My last slide here. Summary on the smart battery technology. More than smart, we need safe, right? I think safe battery is the key thing. Smart comes later, and safe battery is possible only with smart batteries. Number two, this intelligent battery pack, can offer unprecedented level of safety, reliability, and performance, right? We have seen that, what, Tesla's, I think, safety report for some of us who have seen, they are talking about an order of magnitude better safety when compared to an ICE engine kind of vehicle. And of course, IoT is very critical to monitor the performance and life of the battery. Big data and AI, what we have seen earlier, with this thing, can significantly improve the user experience. Intelligent swapping for battery pack can definitely push the EV sales as well. And last, the connectivity is disrupting this e-mobility in a way that we have not imagined. So that's my 2 cents, and this is my contact details. But I'm handing it over back to you, and if there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take it up in the Q&A session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful presentation. I believe everyone might have learned a lot from that knowledgeable presentation.
Thank you.
Uh, so let me see how many people are active with us. Can you hit the like button to show me the energy level attendees? The like buttons are in the in the emoji section. Perfect. Now it's time to have a much awaited last panel discussion of the event on smart battery technology. In the esteemed panel, we have Dr. Arpita Dey from India Cellular and Electronics Association. She would be moderating the session as well. Mr. Venkat Rajaraman from Sydney Energy, Dr. Judith Sivarajan from Underwriters Laboratories, Mr. Dr. Shivraja Kumar Maharajan from Rimac Automobili, Mr. Hemant Kumar Iyer from Aditya Technological Center. The discussion will be led by Arpita ma'am. Welcome all panelists on the screen, and I'm handing over the session to Arpita ma'am. I have a small announcement to make to all the attendees. If you have any question, please post them on the Q&A box. Our panelists will take them at the end of the session. Arpita ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Hemant. Good evening, everybody. I'm privileged to be part of such an esteemed panel where all of the experts are on the same stage to share their thoughts and experiences. So when this session talks about smart battery technology, let me just start on with battery, which we all are aware it's basically the heart of the EV. It drives the EV, it powers the motor, and basically is of a rechargeable type, typically the lithium-ion, which are designed for the higher ampere hour capacity. So with the technological advancements, developments of the EVs, the battery technologies has developed many folds. And as per the presentation which we have just seen, it's quite clear that we are at a very advanced stage, and which will be carried on the further discussions that we're going to do after this Q&A in the Q&A round. So basically the EVs are getting smarter, and so does the battery. But as the pointer stated out by Mr. Venkat, now we have to see it for a safer battery rather for a smarter battery. So that's a very, very good pointer to note. So faster adaptability of EVs are due to the reasons, namely the zero emissions that they have, and basically the batteries for the energy storage. Among the various technologies, right now lithium-ion is preferred due to the higher densities, the longer life cycles, the no memory effect, and moreover, the necessity to increase the driving range, extending the battery life, higher efficiencies. All of these topics have caught the attention of the industry as well as the academia. Then because of all the certain reasons and the concepts, new battery packs, the new technologies in the battery packs, and of course the battery management systems, they have evolved over time and achieved greater heights. So the concept of smart and safer batteries, now I would like to add the word safe to smart after this presentation, is in due course of time of transformation of the conventional batteries into an intelligent one, which can number 8 communicate wirelessly with the battery packs, controlling and providing the advanced cell balancing as we've all seen, then monitoring and fault tolerance in the operations. It's a very important parameter in this. Secondly, it should be able to estimate its own SOC, the state of charge, and then predominantly the possibility to evaluate the SOH, the state of health, and of course the state of safety also gets added on. And another pointer here would be to basically easily get integrated in a very large battery pack by enhancing the scalability, of course. So in a nutshell, if we go and see the battery, its characteristics, namely in terms of the material that is being used, the charging and the discharging time, the BMSs, sensors in the EV that are used, the various technologies as shown in the presentation also, like the AI, big data, the analytics, IoT, they play a very, very important and crucial role in, defining the safety, reliability, performance, and the lifetime of a battery, and therefore the electric vehicle, of course. So, taking this discussion forward with all the esteemed dignitaries and the panelists that are present, I would like to ask the first question on the materials of the batteries. So this goes out to Dr. Sivarajakumar, and if he could explain us and give his thoughts on the next generation battery materials. Over to you, Dr. Siva.
Thanks, Arpita. Thank you very much. It was a great presentation from Mr. Venkat. I think he made the platform pretty, more defined. So it's easy for me to really just pitch and go from my from what I would like to say. So yeah, materials point of view, and I would like to start from the conventional lithium-ion batteries, which mainly uses NMC and LFP-based cathodes and graphite-based anodes, which are the conventional most relevant electrode materials, what is being used in most of the lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles and also for storage, let's say. And of course, we know that the next generation batteries would actually try to use, to evolve, to move away from the conventional NMC, NCA layered type cathode materials and also from graphite. But I would like to say, just to touch upon some of the points what Mr. Venkat presented. So degradation, I think that's what is important, and also what Dr. Arpita mentioned, safety. So we should have a balanced material which can take care of less degradation and at the same time not compromising much on safety. When I say that, we have to choose a material which is less degrading, but also, again, I'm quoting Mr. Venkat, he said battery is a non-linear system. So we cannot say you take 10 cells and then, like the paper what he showed is a famous paper from Stanford. So it shows that the trajectory of degradation, which happens, and it happens in a knee point. We call that as a knee point, and the degradation is non-linear, and also it's difficult to predict, because if you take 10 cells, 3 cells are different and 7 cells are much different. So the way the point at which knee point happens, the sudden degradation, or they call it electrode battery rollover. From that point, the degradation is exponential. It's faster. It's difficult to predict. So the battery world is moving towards, for instance, they are Tesla, for instance, they are moving towards a cobalt-free cathode materials. Because when I say degradation, the degradation is more dominant at the anode material. So if you take the SLA formation or the lithium plating, and then if you relate lithium plating towards the formation of a thermal runaway onset, for instance. So all these factors you can correlate to a point, and you can stand in a point where you can say that, yes, I would focus on the anode material so that I can work on the degradation which is happening at the anode material. But also, one of the degradation consequences is the loss of lithium inventory. And we know that the cathode material is the source of lithium here. So we cannot just evolve by just looking at anode material, and we cannot just looking at the cathode material. We have to take them together. And we know that electrolyte is the medium between the cathode and anode, and also not just for degradation, but also for safety point of view, the electrolyte, the loss of electrolyte, and let's say the lithium inventory. Also, it's one of the factors which also relates to the kinetics, and then that relates to the power capability of the cell. So the next generation would be to go with nickel-rich cathode materials with less cobalt, let's say. And I know that Tesla is also moving towards zero cobalt and just nickel and aluminum. And also they have used something like tungsten, for instance, which is just for stability, which can replace the role of cobalt. So that is what I see in, let's say, 5 years at cathode side, and the anode side could evolve from graphite combined with silicon, which is already happening, but the percentage of silicon is very less, let's say 2 to 5%, and this will keep on evolving. And then maybe, let's say in 5 years, we will have lithium with substantial amount of silicon. I personally don't see that losing silicon very much, because yes, we can lose silicon, losing graphite and then we can replace with silicon, but we lose power capability as well. So we have to see balance both the sides. I would just finish with one more point, and then maybe I can pass on to the other panelists. What is more important is what I think is the breathing time for a battery. So when I say breathing time, yes, we can work on different types of next generation cathode, anode, but if there is a safety event, I think we should give the battery a breathing event, which means that, like what Mr. Venkat said, a smart BMS and a smart material, which is not really very reactive. And when I say reactive, which is very important for the power capability. So altogether, it's not just the electrodes, but the engineering in terms of the cell design. How am I going to distinguish between a tabless design and a tab design, and multiple tabs, like what Tesla is doing, and what are the form factors, prismatic, and how do I coat my cathode materials, anode materials? So it should be a balance, and I think we should give the battery a breathing time, which is very important, and that depends on the engineering. Yeah. So I'm open for questions, and we can discuss more.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Sivaraj Kumar. It was great to hear about the various, levels and the generations of the materials that we're going to use, where we are currently standing, what is best, what else can be enhanced in this for the betterment of this particular sector. Moving on to the next question, as discussed, and if I may ask Dr. Judith Jivarajan, that how would you think that how the intelligent sensors can improve the performance of EVs, and if certain technologies, likewise we've discussed, like AI, big data, or IoT, etc., not limiting just to these, can make EV battery much more smarter? So, Dr.
Sure.
Judith, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Arpita, and thank you, Mr. Venkat, for the very detailed presentation in the beginning. You set the stage for all the different factors that go not only into improving the performance of a battery and its life, but also the safety. Because the way I look at it, they're all very interconnected. You talked about smart batteries, and so the smart batteries are typically, even for the past 3 decades, even with portable device battery, they have been smart, where the charger recognizes or talks to the battery, and these are all the high quality ones I'm talking about. It talks to the battery, it's able to recognize the chemistry, it does the balancing because it's monitoring bank level voltages and so on. So, you can make it even smarter, especially when you get it into vehicles and energy storage, stationary grid energy storage systems and so on. And the reason you want to do that is because, and you talked about, Dr. Arpita, you talked about, all these new technologies, right, that we can make use of. So the reason you want that is because if something happens, we are going towards larger and larger systems, right? And so the hazards that are involved with them actually increase exponentially. And so, if you're able to actually recognize certain behaviors that are off-nominal, where they're just starting to become off-nominal, with the review of all the data that is being downloaded with all these available new technologies, and with all the wireless that is available today, and if people can actually look at the data remotely, and also, or even use platforms, software platforms that recognize a problem and provide enough warning to the people that, or the people monitoring it, then I think we have a much safer system in place. So for instance, let's say even if something happens to the battery, let's say there's a catastrophic event in a car, depending on, and as you know, the batteries are located in a very difficult position inside the car, and so in a location inside the car, and so when something happens to the battery, if you do not have access to the BMS data, then you don't know where exactly the problem is. And so people who are approaching the vehicle to move it or to find out what is going on will not know where the actual energy is. And we call that stranded energy. Part of the battery might have burnt off, part of it may not have. And so to find out which part is still active and which part is not, these are things that can be got if data is remotely accessed continuously and on a reasonable scale. I'm not saying, you take it every 10 seconds or something like that, or even every second, but in a reasonable manner. And this is something that the battery manufacturers and the automotive manufacturers have to decide on. And so I think, using all these high technology platforms and the brains behind it, will really go a long way into making our batteries smarter for safety. So I would just like to, finish that all these different technologies are going to be extremely helpful for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Dhruv. This was really insightful. And, knowing about these technologies, of course, advancement is taking its leap ahead in its own phase and manner. But then, all the parameters definitely have to be looked upon on how they can be synchronized amongst the different parts of the EVs, battery being the main, of course, but then others are interrelated, of course. So everything needs to be in a balanced and a safe manner so that, all these technologies can be beneficial rather than, taking it a step back and creating certain problems. So now moving ahead with the certain questions that I have with the panel members. Coming to Mr. Venkat, sir, what do you think? What are the key features to be considered while developing an intelligent BMS for an EV battery? And then I have another one. If, as you spoke about the swapping part in your presentation, so how do you think that these smart and safe batteries designed for easy swapping will push the EV sales also in India? Over to you, sir.
Got it. Thank you, Dr. So I think there are two parts of the question. I'll address the first part and then maybe come to the second one. See, the intelligence and the smart battery, is a very big topic. So, I think we see that at the three levels, right? One, the intelligence that is built at the hardware level, which is at the hardware BMS level. The intelligence that is built at the algorithm level, and there is a intelligence that gets built at the cloud level, right? So these three are the, so if I were to sort of, slightly deep dive into each one of them, intelligence at the hardware level, I think, clearly there, safety is paramount. I think Dr. Judith also talked about. So, how do you make sure that you have a good cell balancing? How do you make sure that you have multiple temperature sensors? How do you make sure that you have a good, dynamic overload cutoff? How do you make sure that you have a good rate dependent discharge and so on and so forth? This happens at the hardware level. The intelligence at the algorithm level is a different ball game. Again, a lot of work which is being done, but how do you accurately, measure and develop good algorithms for state of health of the battery or state of power of the batteries and so on and so forth? Now there are concepts of state of function, state of safety, and so on and so forth. So that's the second area. Intelligence at the cloud level, is again, you have a good communication. Make sure that the complex battery modeling that are happening on the cloud, how do you dynamically feed that back into the battery and then make sure that you adjust it for the battery performance? So I would broadly classify them under these three major categories, Dr. Arpita. So coming back to the battery swapping infrastructure and then how do we handle it, the second part of your question. Today I think in the earlier panel, I think there was a lot of good discussion on that, but I think one key demand is, battery packs are clearly getting heavier, right? Because there is a need for higher range, especially for the last mile delivery vehicles and so on. And there is a, lack of charging infrastructure, inadequacy of fast charging and so on and so forth. So battery swapping, I don't believe is a panacea for all the problems, but there is definitely a segment which could benefit from the battery swapping, right? So and today with this e-commerce boom, the last mile delivery, folks are talking about 2 million deliveries per month, Dunzos of the world, deliveries and so on and so forth. All of these companies more focused towards, operational cost reduction. Shift towards EV and a shift towards the swapping infrastructure is going to be very critical. I think, the recent Hero Motor Corp and Gogoro deal, and there is a whole bunch of activity going on, but I do believe that there is a very important role that the swapping will have to play for such applications, Doctor. Back to you.
Great, sir. I mean, really insightful in this. So, just to add on, like for the swapping, standardization of batteries also can be considered likewise. I mean, if you have a certain set of batteries for two-wheelers or three-wheelers, if we have some kind of standardization policy or something, that could be beneficial in terms of the standardization of the size that we are actually looking forward to. The swapping would definitely become much more easier and simpler in terms that, range anxiety would automatically get decreased if you have certain charging stations at certain points. So you can go change. But the whole point here is for the various sizes that we use, and certainly for the charging stations also, the chargers, if we have a certain standard set for them, we'll all have a very similar kind of a charging port, what you can call. So definitely, I think it's going to add on to the boosting of this particular adoption of EVs in the country, and definitely would, bring down the level of the pollution that's ongoing, which is not just the case if I can, say for New Delhi, which I am currently in, certain I mean, more or less this kind of environmental crisis is seen throughout. So it's degrading day by day. So automatically this would be helpful, beneficial.
Agree with you. More standardization is going to be absolutely critical today. This is not the standardization in terms of size or maybe a connector. Standardization of API, standardization of how does that talk with the charging stations and so on.
Absolutely.
And just for your I remember the chargers mostly which are there for three-wheelers. What we have in India is a very power profile, right? In the sense that you have a lot of power fluctuation. So the charging powers that are being provided by the charging manufacturers are not the same depending on whether you are doing it. So I completely agree.
Yes, of course, I totally agree to you. So these were the set of questions that I had for the panelists. So with all the inputs on the smart batteries, the smart technologies for safety, for better standardization of the cells, if I could just add one more pointer, that if smart batteries could be for the effective usage of EVs, so basically we are looking forward to a very diversified structure of a battery, which is complex, but yet it has its communication capabilities with the rest of the parts of the EVs, which will make it more safer and much more effective. So this would be my pointer. If Dr. Judith or Dr. Siva would like to add their pointers also, I would request them to please do it now.
Sure. I wanted to add something on the smart batteries. So and also the ease of swapping. I understand that we can actually standardize sizes, voltages, and also maybe the energy. But one thing I wanted to point out is that the charger should actually be able to talk to the battery. And I think Mr. Venkat had made that point too. It should be an intelligent charger that actually recognizes the chemistry. As our other speaker also mentioned, there are many chemistries that are available with lithium-ion. And so each of them have a different voltage working range, right? So if you are trying to, charge a NMC battery and an iron phosphate battery, the cell level voltage differences are quite big. And so, it's very important that the battery and the charger actually talk to each other. And that can be easily done with an intelligent system. So I just wanted to wrap up saying that one should be very aware, even when standardizing, to make sure that that handshake is done before it starts charging the battery. Thank you.
Great pointer on the handshake of the battery and the chargers, along with the various chemistries that can be used. So, Dr. Siva, would you like to add anything to this?
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking all technologies which we have we currently have should be focused, and it should be no technology is bad. So the battery swapping, which is happening in India, and also the ease of charging and the intelligent charging, what you mentioned. But I would like to add a few points in a cell point of view. So right now in an OEM point of view, we are focusing to have the charging accomplished from 0 to 80% of SOC in 20 minutes. So that's the target we have, and this could be, even better in terms of the evolution of different electrode materials. And as I said, graphite could be limiting in some of the C rates, but maybe if you go with some other graphite, some other anode materials, maybe the C rate could be a bit more relaxing, and the cycle life could be even better. So the point what I wanted to add was, when you talk about smart batteries and when you talk about something like a smart BMS, so now the BMS has to talk well with the cell. So I mentioned breathing for the batteries earlier. What I meant was that we have the impact of charging, which is happening at the anode. And if the anode is, the degradation at anode is lithium plating, and the lithium plating is allowed to happen as the cycle life progresses, and then it could actually form a dendrite, and then it could actually trick the separator, and then it could lead to thermal runaway. So we should have a BMS which is capable of having material to wheel connectivity. For instance, the most undermined part of the BMS these days, I would say, this is the SOC. So for a fresh battery, during the beginning of life, the SOC is a number, and that depends on the capacity. And right from cycle number 1, and as I said, the knee point could be anywhere, and the SOC can actually keep changing. And the other point, what most of the people miss, is the stoichiometric shift, which means that people just look at cell level, but if you look at electrode level, the anode potential and also the cathode potential, they shift, which means that is a sign of polarization, which means that it leads to OCV shift. So all the BMS these days, they are capable of doing, offline BMS, they are capable of just measuring the voltage response, for instance, or I don't know, they might measure temperature, but I'm just talking about the OCV misleading thing, because that OCV is correlated to the SOC. So if you miss that point, and you might think that is the optimal SOC, but that could be high SOC. And the high SOCs are really, they are prone to different electrochemical reactions, and that could lead to safety compromises and also degradation compromises. So I think we should do more on the electrode level. And when you call a smart battery, it should come from electrode level as well. And that could be reflected to the driver when he's sitting on wheel.
So thank you, Dr. Siva Rajkumar. It was really wonderful to explain the chemistries as well, along with the charging, discharging, and various other parameters of the battery. So now we have a set of questions from the guests as well, the audience. First question here would be on swapping. So Mr. Tejas has asked, what is the battery swapping tariff, kilowatt hour tariff considered in India, and does it vary state-wise? So, Mr. Venkat?
Let me go further. So the tariff is a state level subject in India. So these are all handled, and it varies from state to state. Some of the states have given tariff discount for the EV. Still, there are quite a bit of clarifications that are being sought. But a short answer to that is it varies with the state to state, Dr.
Great. So, I mean, just to add on to this also, with this tariff in the batteries, state with the various EV policies, they do have the incentives to purchase this electric vehicle also. So people should actually take a point in that as well, taking consideration about every aspect, likewise the cost, the benefit that you're trying to get into, and the pointers that you added in terms of swapping also. If you have a state-wise tariff, which is definitely, with certain incentives added to it, it would definitely lead to better adoption and faster adoption of this segment, whether it be two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, be it be anything. So next question is there a role for machine learning, deep learning in smart BMS applications? And are there currently BMSs with this particular capability?
May I answer that?
Sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Let's take the case of India, for instance. We have different climate conditions, we have different drive profiles, and we have different user cases, for instance. And if charging is put into effect, and then depending on the size of the charger, 22 kilowatt or even 150 kilowatt, for instance. So the degradation or the stress what we are putting on the battery is going to be different. So I think for this point of thing, what I already mentioned, to have a material to wheel connectivity, the deep learning and the machine learning should be very interesting in terms of artificial intelligence, which means that you can have a data-driven model, which means that you just take not just the lab level data, not just at electrode level, not just at cell level, but also you take into consideration the fleet level data, which means that, as I mentioned, you can have not just the estimation of the life as the battery ages, but also what you can have is how you can optimize the aging. Imagine you set a warranty to the customer and you say 10 years, and then the batteries are aging, and as I said, they are non-linear. So it's good to have an artificial intelligence which can train the model, and the model inputs could come from fleet data. For instance, you drive the vehicle, and after 5 years of time period, what kind of drive conditions the particular battery have gone through, and what is the temperature response for that, and what is the current response for that, and what is the voltage response for that. So based on these parameters, you can always feed that, and then that would give a great accuracy to the model, with which we can have a very less range anxiety for the customer, and we could have a very defined life cycle of the batteries. Yeah, so to answer the question, yes, there is a big role for that.
So, I mean, is there any specific model which is as such named for this particular technology?
Yeah, they are called prognostics model.
Okay.
They call that degradation diagnostics and prognostics model. There are many papers on literature, but the challenge is it's in cell level, and we don't have many data. Even if you look at that Stanford paper, it has just cell level data. And then you have the degradation trajectories, and then if you want to connect that with some on-field data, we don't have so many data.
All right. So basically, a database has to be maintained to, verify certain.
Exactly, and also it has to be offline versus online, because you cannot have so much of computation to update that in an online model. That's very difficult. It costs a lot.
Yes.
So it's in end of the day, what kind of target customer you're aiming at, and this could be a premium feature now, but I think like airbags, which has just become mandatory in India, I think in few years this will become mandatory.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I just want to add a couple of more points to what Dr. Shiva said. I think Dr. Venkat Vishwanathan from Carnegie Mellon, there is every week there is a battery modeling seminar. Some of the weeks talks about machine learning and the modeling of the battery. I recommend the gentleman who had asked this question. I think it's sign up. The good thing these days with the post-COVID is all of them are available. For every one of us. I recommend that if you are interested, join there. And I think adding to what Dr. Shiva said today, for example, I think he beautifully mentioned about the fleet level data. Today, if I were an insurance company, right, if I were to insure, for example, a fleet data, in order for me to really accurately predict, you definitely need, some, deep learning algorithms. Of course, Google's DeepMind is doing quite a bit of work on that as well. But broadly, I think, very interesting work is being done, in some part of research and some part of academia.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add also that what you brought up is really very important, because there is actually a lot of data from manufacturers, at least in the US, where they have put their vehicles with batteries working in the relevant environments, including the vibration and shocks and so on. Of course, the extreme temperatures that are very important. But most of that data seems to be, held by the companies, and they really don't want to share it because it becomes competition sensitive. And so, they have to work with certain other software manufacturers to put up platforms that can actually, recognize these kinds of trends and so on. So I think we're getting there, but it might be some time before we actually get there to a place where that becomes, the modeling becomes really, it provides the right trends for people to take.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it was, wonderful where all of the speakers added on their pointers. There's just one last question. Mr. Nagarajan has asked that if we can, get the presentation. Of course, I'm sure that why people are asking for this presentation. It was very beautifully projected and has all the details. So the hosts may answer this question if they can get the presentation.
Yes, I hope ST Nagarajan, all the attendees would be asking the question to Venkit sir if they can get the presentation, and we would definitely work with that, and we could ask Venkit sir to share the presentation with us so that we can share the presentation with all the attendees.
Yeah, I'll be happy to do that, Hemant. And if somebody needs that, maybe they can write to me at venkats@sigmi.com. And anyway, through your channel, I can send across the presentation.
Perfect. So SK Nagarajan from Venkit.
Perfect, perfect. That answers all the questions that were posted on the chat box. So, coming to an end for this session, I would like to thank everyone for a wonderful discussion with a lot of exchange of ideas. Knowledge has been shared, and new insights have been shown in terms of the presentation that we saw, the beautiful discussion that we had amongst the speakers. And definitely, I think this would be very beneficial for the growth of this particular sector in terms of the adoption and faster disruption in terms of the norms that we actually currently think that are preventing as, or they are currently the barriers for faster adoption. So this would definitely be beneficial for the development of this particular sector, the EV sector in India. So over to Hemant. This would be
thank you Apitana, for the closing remarks. I would be glad to ask the closing remarks from Dr. Shiv Rajakumar sir. So if he can provide any closing remarks for the particular session, that would be really great.
Yeah, sure. I think it's a great initiative because we should move a step forward to implement. For instance, for me, the charging is one of the important roadblocks for the implementation of EV, not just in India. I think it's a common problem. So the way we think in terms of smart technologies, which could actually save a lot of time, and it could give a lot of insights into what is happening, not just in cell level, but in system level. That is very important for the industry to move forward. And then this could make a very big difference, even a small step. So someone was asking what is the data we need. So any data or any small information which needs to be given importance, and any small technology, it has to be given importance. And then I think this would be this can make this happen. This can happen. Make this happen in very near future.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Shiv Rajakumar sir. I would now be moving to Dr. Judith ma'am for the closing remarks, final remarks. Ma'am, give us the closing remarks for the particular session. That would be really good for all of us and for the attendees as well.
Thank you. Yes, this has been a great session, and thank you for inviting me. As you heard, there's a lot of promise, especially with all the new technologies and all the great minds of the younger generation going into building these, different platforms. I think having adequate data, using the relevant data, and helping in, advancing all these technologies to be able to recognize the right information and the relevant information to provide safer systems during both charge as well as use, I think is very important. And if manufacturers can work with not only the battery manufacturers, but also the EV manufacturers can work with all these companies that are coming up with these IoT platforms, as well as all the other AI platforms and so on. It will be really great, to make the system a little safer. And as we go along, we learn more and, make the system more robust. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Last but not the least, I will now request Venkat sir to please provide his final verdict on the present for the session. So your closing remarks.
Sure, Hemant. Thank you. I think this was a very pertinent topic, very pertinent discussion. Extremely, happy to hear the panelists' view and great set of questions. I truly believe that we have a long way to go. I'm sure there are going to be a lot more discussions which are coming. The only comment I have is I think we are not able to envision all the disruption that are going to happen in this space. So we wait and then we be prepared for that. I think that would be the that would be my closing remark.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, all the panelists. Thank you very much, all our esteemed panelists, for this wonderful session. And a very special thanks to Arpita ma'am for wonderfully managing the discussion. During the panel discussion, you asked insightful and pertinent questions that kept the conversation going and captured the attention of all of our audience. It's not an easy task, but you made it, ma'am. So thank you once again. Thank you once again to all our panelists.
Most welcome, Hemant. It was a pleasure to be, associated with such esteemed people with so much of knowledge. Yeah.
I also like to thank all our valuable audience who kept their patience during these 2 days, got involved throughout the session, and kept encouraging us. We expect the same in coming event as well. But wait, the show is not over yet. We are having the most awaited part of the day, which is the EV Battery Tech Awards 2021. We will be back at 5:30 for the EV Battery Tech Awards 2021. So stay up close for that. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
So the stage is set. Namaste, hello, and the warmest welcome to the leaders, Gaur Farmayega, ladies and gentlemen, who create the heart of the future. जैसे कि हमने पहले भी कहा, गौर फरमाइएगा, ladies and gentlemen, you are the leaders who create the heart of the future. I, Nikita Rana, your host for the session, welcomes you to the EV Battery Tech Awards 2021, powered by EMobility Plus. Leaders, before we begin with the awarding and the rewarding of you to your contribution to the world, we want to know something from you. So शुरू करने से पहले आपसे हम कुछ जानना चाहेंगे और सवाल ये है कि the battery, as you all know, is the heart of any electric vehicle and the most important component in its system. So tell us, great leaders, what is your battery? What has your heart in life, that one thing which is of absolute utmost importance for you? I'm getting a little emotional reading this question. तो हम दोबारा से सवाल we can of course repeat. सवाल ये है कि what is your battery? What, just like you have an electric vehicle, it's got a battery which is the heart. What has your heart? What is your battery in life? That one thing which keeps you going. Or you can most definitely comment in the chat box, as we always say at EMobility Plus. The first 3 to comment get the biggest prize in life. And Shri Sinhaji, the biggest prize in life is name and fame. Trust me, there is nothing bigger than that. We'll read out your name and your lovely comments and make you absolutely famous amongst rock stars today. And I do believe that on this particular platform, it takes a little bit of time for the comments to pour in. So before we start, I would actually request Shri Sinhaji, sir, what has your heart in life? What is that battery? If you could tell us. Sir? Sudhendu sir? Sira sir?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, asking a very difficult question, isn't it? Looks like, but yes, the family is always there. Family is at the core of the heart. In Indian value system, family is a very, very critical thing, most close, nearest to the heart. Family should be placed like a battery. So whenever you are, say, thinking low, you can get it charged, and then you are completely back to the mood. Yes, thank you.
Wow, Mrs. Sinha, I think you are blessed to have an amazing family. If you were to meet my family, it's more of draining the energy than recharging. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely, family is the answer for sure. Thank you so very much, Mrs. Sinha. And just like the celebrity that you are, we want you to switch off the video, because when you make an entry, just like a Bollywood actor. We want you to come in. So we'll catch up with Mrs. Sinha very soon. Till then, we've got Sonali Kapoor who writes in meditation. Wow, Sonali. Sonali, let us know meditation with a mix of yoga or only meditation. Anybody else? So, ladies and gentlemen, our very first answer was, of course, by Shri Sinha, our amazing leader for today. And our very first winner is Sonali Priya Kapoor, the managing director of Hatch Project Meditation. Thank you so very much, Sonali. Only mindful meditation is enough to keep one going with the smiley face. Absolutely agree. Anybody else? Let us have three. So that's one happened. The other, let's have one more comment before we actually begin with our session. Anybody else? What is that one thing that has your heart? Oh, and as we say, Sankara Subramanian writes in helping others. All of you are a very sanskari, helpful, generous set of leaders. If I were you, I would probably say food. Anybody who agrees, let me know. Anybody whose heart is in food, let us know in the comment box. Rajma chawal would be my answer, with dahi, of course. All right. So while, ladies and gentlemen, uh, it is going to be super interactive throughout the session. Keep talking to us. Make the most of the comment box. That is how you reach out to us. We'll read every space, even semicolon that you write, and make you super famous. So while you do that, and we continue to read our comment box, let us begin with the very first segment. For our first segment, we have a leader who has a whopping 27 years of contribution in operations, infrastructure, planning, coordination, and management at the field and policy making levels in the Indian Railways. His performance has been recognized and awarded twice at the national level. The National Award for E-Governance 2019 to 2020 for excellence in providing citizen-centric delivery by Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. Government of India. Wow, that is one. That is a very bhari Varga award. National Award for Outstanding Service, Ministry of Railways, Government of India, 2006, and thrice at the Ministry of Railway level. Let's give it up for Sri Sudhendu J. Sinha, the Advisor, Infrastructure, Connectivity, Transport, and Electric Mobility, Niti Aayog. Mr. Sinha, what a pleasure to have you with us.
Same this side, Nikita. Great connecting to all of you, and definitely you are doing great work bringing one of the most critical issues of national significance as a public discourse and recognizing the great people who are doing good work in taking the country forward. Thank you. Great connect.
Mrs. Sinha, before you start, I mean, I don't know, when do we meet an astute leader such as yourself next? So your passion and love for the Indian Railways is all over your work. We were reading your bio and was super duper impressed. And if we could request the Railway Ministry, we'll ask for only one thing, and I'm sure our audience members will also agree, to make you the brand ambassador of Indian Railways. Sir, तो ministry तक पहुंचने को तो समय लगेगा. Till then, we all have nominated you as a brand ambassador of Indian Railways. So, as the brand ambassador, sir, सवाल ये है, what is the first thing that you'll do?
Trains must run to time. You see, that should be the most critical challenge. Because once we say that our trains, the quality of trains, and everything should be of kind of international and global standards, so our train must be like that. So punctuality has to be number one. That should be the number one priority. Yes.
Fantastic answer, Mr. Sinha. What a pleasure. The audience is waiting to hear from you. Any other parting note they'd love to hear? Thank you so much.
Thanks to the all the awardees who are here, and really it's great connecting to you, to EV battery tech, and as I said in the beginning, that you are bringing one of the most critical things, critical topic, as a public discourse, that is battery. Rightly said that it's time when we have to take care of climate, we have to take care of the environment, we have to take care of sustainability, and if we do not, it won't be very far when the entire human species will go a kind of extinct. So it's time that we immediately get back to the thinking mode and start working also that how best we could do. Now, in the transport sector, electric mobility has got a big role to play. At NITI Aayog, we have got a national mission on transformative mobility and battery storage. I am supposed to be its mission director, and we are working on a mission mode to ensure that the country is able to leapfrog from the internal combustion engine, that the old polluting kind of vehicular style, to that of a complete change, complete kind of orbital transformation to green mobility, to a kind of clean, connected, and shared kind of mobility. Now, as it was told by the anchor Nikita in the beginning, that battery is the principal focus. It's key to the entire EV electric vehicles. So therefore, battery, the price of battery is going to decide everything, because minus battery, then it is just the skeleton. So internationally, it is continuously being worked out that how the cost of battery can be reduced. So we see that in a time span of last 10 years, but the cost of battery has gone down almost 90%, and it is still continuing. Now the technology people are working still harder to find out that what could be the better alternatives of working on battery, so that the cost can further be brought down, so that the vehicles become affordable. Now, the government of India has launched a scheme known as Production Linked Incentive Scheme on advanced chemistry cells and battery storage. So precisely, it is the same battery for which the EV battery tech is going to kind of recognize you. Now, this is a 18,100 crore rupees program Government of India has launched. And the idea is that we should be incentivizing the big international players, encouraging them to set up their manufacturing facilities in India, with lot of emphasis on localization, lot of emphasis on kind of generating employment for Indians. And touch wood, if things go the way we are taking it forward, in 2024, barely 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, we will have the first Make in India battery rollout. And that would be a real moment of pride. And that would be the game changer in the entire spectrum of adoption of electric mobility. Now, as of now, our domestic players, who are the most significant ones, Tatas are there, Reliance is there, then Adani's are there. They are the big players. Ola is there, Rajesh Exports are there. These are the big players in the field of, they would be one who will be going in for these big bids for battery. And internationally, yes, we will be going in for kind of road shows. We will be going in outside, we will be going into Europe, US, Southeast Asian countries, and we will be encouraging these people, the great manufacturers of battery, that they should come and set up their facility in India. And it makes a wonderful business sense also, because in India there is absolutely no dearth of technological kind of knowledge. Our IITs are probably the best. We have encouraged as many as 9 IITs to create a dedicated department on battery, sustainable engineering. I mean, the nomenclature is different, but yes, battery is a principal focus. So what I'm just trying to tell you is that the entire governance system, the whole enthusiasm is directed towards ensuring that the supply chain of battery is established. It is made extremely robust, so that we have our own batteries, Make in India batteries, with the best of the quality. And I always say that our quality should be that of the Japanese. Our supply chain should be as robust as that of the European standards, and probably the cost should be, the sticker price should be even lower than the Chinese prices, so that with all these three combinations, we could say that we are the best. And the idea is not only for the domestic manufacturing, but we want to be a kind of global export manufacturing and export hub for EV batteries. And I'm sure to the congratulations to all the winners. And I'm sure people like you will be someday contributing in a big way to take the country forward so that we can just transform. It would be a real game changer, you see. And the whole country can leapfrog into a new mobility paradigm, which would be clean, connected, and good for the country, good for the environment. Thank you. Congratulations again to all the winners, and thanks to the organizers for connecting to me. Thank you.
Srizana, thank you so very much, sir, for gracing our amazing session with your presence. And I speak on behalf of everyone, right? We were super impressed right from the very first statement you made. Punctuality to make us go international. Absolutely impressive. And it just went on and on. You know, our love and our respect for you just went on and on, like the Indian Railways. Thank you so very much, Mr. Sinha. Thank you so very much again for your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was none other than Shri Sudhendu J. Sinha from Niti Ayog. I mean, that just takes our amazing session to the next level. Of course, the first level we cracked by having you, all you superstars, and having such dignitaries just adds char chand lagate. I don't know how do you translate that in English, but I hope you get the gist. Okay, let's read some amazing comments. We've got Ravi Kumar who writes in to remain charged all the time. Okay. And Bhumit Vyas writes in, hello everyone, this is Bhumit Vyas from Germany. Bhumit, what an eye-catching, ear-catching name, ear-catching if that's a word. Germany, ये आपको ये नाम आया कहाँ से? If you could just let us know in the comment box. I want to know the history behind your company's name because sounds very impressive. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for, presenting to you the award section. तो जोरदार तालियां हो जाए इसी बात पर. And Bhumit Vyas, we're actually waiting. Go ahead with that amazing AV. All right, so that AV, of course, was Shri Sinha, and we'll start with our award section now. Audience members, with this. All right, so before we start with the award, हम आपको एक instruction देना चाहते हैं जो बहुत ही ज़रूरी instruction है. Okay, this is your second shot to name and fame and glory. So you all are generous leaders. We got to know that from the very start. So you have to write beautiful congratulatory notes for other winners. And I'll tell you, vested interest मतलब इसमें आपके लिए क्या है? Because when you win, when other people will write the same congratulatory note to you, you will feel good. Okay, so write because your name can be taken and you will feel good as well. So we'll read out the first 3 congratulatory notes and make you super duper famous. And for our amazing winners, I will be reading first 3, पर आप 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th to nth जरूर पढ़िएगा because blessings have been showered. Okay, so इसी के साथ हम अपने सबसे पहले अवार्ड की तरफ बढ़ते हैं, which is the company award, company of the year, battery manufacturing. And of course, the pratha at EMobility Plus is that we will give you hints. We don't read descriptions about the company. We'll give you hints about the company so that you can guess. So it will be a guessing game. Okay, so let's know a little bit about the company. The company's manufacturing facility is fully IMS certified in producing high quality lithium-ion batteries, currently producing 500 battery packs every day, which is wow, okay, 1, 10, 100,000, 13,000 battery packs per month that are sold pan-India through the 200 plus sales and services center network across the country. So let's see which brilliant company has taken this brilliant award. The award goes to none other than Team iPower Batteries Private Limited. And we have with us Mr. Abhay Agarwal from the marketing department. Mr. Agarwal, how does it feel firstly? Many congratulations.
It feels really great. It feels really great to be the best manufacturer of the year. And it's a great accomplishment. I would say it's a great accomplishment for the whole iPower team because it's their sweat and blood they had put in every project and every customer they had brought into the company. And it's just because of their dedication throughout the year that we have come up to this level.
Also, I would like to point out what Sri Shana already said, that it's high time that we should all proceed towards working towards a greener India and work on the concept of EV. And as he pointed out, that it's really necessary for everybody in the EV segment to not only aim for a lower pricing, but to make it their agenda to have better quality. And we at iPower strongly focus on best quality to be delivered to our customers. With this, I would like to move on, and I would like to share that it has been great gratitude to receive this award. Thank you.
Fantastic, Mr. Abhay Agarwal. And it seems like you already knew that you were going to win the award. Please ask me why.
It's yeah. Why do you think so?
Because the wonderful Oscar-worthy thank you speech seems extremely like you've been working on it since the time you saw your team. You said, "Ye team the winning team hai." So
I was just listening to Mr. Sinha, and I was like quite engaged into his conversation. That whatever he said, I completely agree with all those things.
Fantastic, Mr. Abhay. Many congratulations to you and your team, of course. And just like a true leader, you thanked your team, and that is a great sign. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Abhay Agarwal, I'm sure you're there. We have Mr. Kamlesh from Mr. Kamlesh Shukla, who writes in, please share audio video representation of the conference. Some part of missing. Okay. Congratulations, IPAR. We have Mr. Mukesh Upadhyay, who writes in, congratulations, IPAR. Vijay Patil, who writes in, congratulations. Kya baat hai? I mean, loved it. Sonali Priya Kapoor writes in, congratulations, Mr. Abhay and team. And as in when I say, oh, Abhay Agarwal being the generous, he's like, yes, let me rack in all the compliments that I get. So that was for Team iPar. Many congratulations yet again. And very quickly, let's move on to our next award. Our next award is... Our next award is the Company of the Year Battery Manufacturing. Let's see if you can guess which company it is and who's won this award. The company today is one of the fastest growing battery company in the country, and they have dominated the energy storage industry for more than a decade. Hint number one, it is one of the major battery suppliers in EV and ESS segments across India. They have a manufacturing capacity of 13,000 EV batteries per month. What is this happening? I mean, only in thousands. You speak only in thousands. Let's see who gets this award. The award goes to... Of course, none other than Team Trontech Electronics Private Limited, and we have Samrat Kochar, the COO, as well as the CEO. Fantastic. Samrat, आपके नाम में ही सम्राट है, you are destined to win. Many congratulations to you and your team.
I am really thankful to the EMobility Plus for honoring us with this award. I'm really grateful, and I'm thankful to my customers and the Trontech team who had really made this possible.
Fantastic, Mr. Samrat. Many congratulations yet again. And हमको जरूर बताइएगा आज आप celebrate कैसे करेंगे?
So I'm going to celebrate with my team, and the celebration is going to happen next week, not today, because we are really busy for the pre-Diwali sales.
Oh, good. This is a good kind of busy then. Good for you, and many congratulations yet again, Mr. Kochar. Many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, what comments? Oh, we have Mr. Kochar. Before you leave, before you switch off that camera, we have Kamlesh Shukla who writes in, congratulations, Mr. Samrat Kochar from Trontech. And we have Vijay Patil who writes in, congratulations, Mr. Samrat, and to your amazing team. We have Mane Venkatis Varlu. Mane ji, please tell me if I've pronounced his surname right or wrong. I know for a fact it is wrong, but he's written in warmest congratulations. So, Mr. Kochar, आप बताइए आपको लग कैसे रहा है ये बेहतरीन comments पढ़कर, सुनकर?
Really honored to receive such a recognition.
Fantastic, Mr. Kochar. Many congratulations yet again. And yes, I believe I've missed out on a couple of comments as well. We have Bhumit Vyas who writes in, congratulations, Team iPar. That's for our previous winners. And with that, let's move on very quickly to our next award. Our next award is... Our next word is the company of the year, battery manufacturing. Okay, points for you to guess. The company manufactures EV, two-wheeler battery, e-rickshaw, and loader vehicle battery, which are approved by ARAI, and it has achieved. Oh wow! इसके लिए मेरी जीभ लड़खड़ा गई because fantastic. The revenue is just shocking. Has achieved a revenue of INR 29.90 crores in financial year 21. Fantastic. They have a manufacturing capacity of 10,000 batteries per month. They are supplying to key OEMs in the top 5 for EV two-wheeler and EV three-wheeler. Who are these riches? The award goes to we knew it, none other than Team Signi Energy Private Limited. We have with us Mr. Venkat Rajaraman, CEO and the founder. Mr. Rajaraman, I mean, I was reading the bio और वो आपका क्या है 29.90 crore सुनकर I had to stop for 2-3 seconds.
With the way that you are saying, Nikita, even 2 crore would sound good, I think. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Many congratulations.
Absolutely. So hearty congratulations to Samrat, Abhay from Twantech, iPower. So thank you, EV Battery Tech Awards team for this honor. I'm extremely happy about it. As Dr. Sinha, said, I think battery manufacturing is just starting off the ground in India, right? I think first giga factory for India is going to be done in 2024, and I think we are going to emerge as a global export hub. And at Signi Energy, we are honored and with this award. And as some of you may know, we are an incubator of IIT Madras. We do work very closely with the Center for Battery Engineering and the Electric Vehicles team there. Our focus is on energy storage and electric vehicle batteries. We have this automated battery manufacturing facility in Hyderabad, and our new greenfield project, which is also coming up, which is at 0.5 gigawatt our capacity. Thank you, Nikita. Thank you, EV Battery Tech team. Yeah, absolutely humbled and honored. Thank you so much.
Finally, somebody's understood me, and it took a lot of time, but for the first time, somebody's actually understood this talent that I have. मैं अपने marks भी अपने parents को ऐसे बोलती थी. The less marks that I got, with the same enthusiasm, even if you get like 60%, you say it with enthusiasm as if you've topped.
Absolutely, and this enthusiasm is infectious, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely, sir. Sir, before you leave, of course, you seem to be like a celebrity. Our comment box is just flooded with comments for you. So, of course, we'll read out first four. Sir, you've been absolutely kind. We've got Sonali Kapoor who writes in, so pleased to see Signi accompanying. Great thing. Many congratulations to the team. Very well deserved. Apurva Rajput writes in, congratulations, Team Signi. And Venkat, sir, they seem to be very happy that you have won. It seems like they have won. So many exclamations mark. We've got Kamlesh Shukla who writes in, congratulations, Mr. Rajaraman. We've got Vijay Patel who writes in, heartiest congratulations. Samrat Kochar writes in, congratulations, Mr. Rajaraman and Team Signi. Sankara writes in, heartiest congratulations. And Sonal Kadam writes in, congratulations, iPower, Tronic and Signi Energy. Sir, that is for you. Thank you so much, sir. Many congratulations.
So yet again. Thank you. Thanks.
That was, ladies and gentlemen, none other than the CEO himself. Fantastic. And on that positive note, let's very quickly move on to our next award. Our next award is... It is the company of the year, battery swapping, of course, Pratha, Parampara, and जो अमिताभ बच्चन ने एक और line बोली थी, the Pratishtha. Yes, Pratishtha goes at EMobility. Plus, it is the company has India's largest battery swapping network, serving electric two vehicles and three-wheelers on 100+ station network. They have ramped up exponentially since its inception and does over 4,000 battery swaps. 4,000 every day, ladies and gentlemen, across its network now, compared to 400 a day last fiscal. Wow. Okay, I think the king of numbers they are. Let's see who this king is. The award goes to... Of course, I mean, the name itself has Battery Smart Upgrade Solutions Private Limited. We have with us Mr. Pulkit Khurana, the co-founder and CEO. Mr. Khurana, many congratulations to you.
Thank you, Nikita. And on behalf of Battery Smart team, I really express my gratitude for this award. And I would also take this moment to really appreciate the work that Mr. Sinha and Niti Aayog has been doing towards EV adoption in India. We are really in awe on how fast and what progressive thoughts Niti Aayog and Mr. Sinha have been bringing to the table for EV adoption in India.
Mr. Khurana, that was the very reason, right? There is something about Mr. Sinha. I mean, what a celebrity he is, and every winner who's come in has thanked Mr. Sinha in some way or the other. And thank you so much for appreciating his hard work. Thank you. And of course, there are many of our generous leaders in the comment box who are appreciating your hard work, like Kamlesh Shuklaji, who writes in congratulations to Mr. Khurana and his team. Many congratulations, sir. Have a great day ahead. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the very generous Mr. Pulkit Khurana. Kya baat hai? I mean, I strongly believe it takes a very big leader, right? They can always come in and say, I did all the work, but they don't. They come in, say, my team has done this work. I appreciate X, Y, and Z. They'd name everybody except for themselves. How modest and humble, something which I truly lack, but okay, I will learn from them. Moving on very quickly to our next award. Our next award is it is the Company of the Year, Battery Raw Material, of course, Pratha, Pratishtha, Parampara. I can't seem to learn all this in the same line. I always keep jumbling them up every time I say it. Okay, so the company has a vision to develop and manufacture innovative, high performance and quality carbon products for anode components of lithium-ion batteries. They are the only company globally, wow, okay, so the keyword is they are the only company globally that has a full backward integration from raw coal tar to an anode material. Wow, okay, now we're absolutely excited. Let's see who these rock stars are. The award goes to none other than Team Epsilon Advanced Materials Private Limited, and we have with us Mr. Vikram Handa, the Managing Director. Ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, Mr. Handa. Mr. Handa, whenever is it that you are ready? Because I know, I mean, you're a very big guy, you're a very busy man. So how about whenever is it that Mr. Handa comes in, the first thing we're going to do is leave everything we're doing and listen to him. Till then, let's very quickly move on to our next award. Our next award is our next award is the company's award, the Company of the Year, Research and Development, Lithium-Ion Battery Technology. The company will give you pointers. Of course, the company has established state-of-the-art pilot plant facilities for cell manufacturing, demonstrated the cells as per ISRO technology. Wow, I mean, you will feel like you're actually flying an aircraft and not just any electric vehicle. Okay, ISRO technology and intensive research on advanced chemistries and new technologies are under trial. State-of-the-art electrical and environmental facilities are created to evaluate the cells and also battery packs. Let's see who the winner is. The award goes to of course, Team Amara Raja Batteries. We've got with us Dr. Venkatesh Warlu, Mane, the AGM, and Dr. Ebenezer Duga Pogu. Wow, okay. So I would request these fine gentlemen to come on in and correct me because it doesn't seem like I've done my education well. So help me out with your pronunciation, sir.
Yeah, this is Venkatesh Warlu. Very good evening. So it's great to receive this award, and because we have been working for this lithium-ion batteries for the last 10 years, I can say that. And in 2019, we got the ISRO technology. We have established a pilot plant facilities to manufacture all the three form factors, that is cylindrical cell, pouch cell, and prismatic cells. So today we are in a position to develop up to 50 ampere hour cell, single cell of the pouch or prismatic type. And we also evaluated several other chemistries, and it is a really exciting for us to receive the award from the eMobility Plus because of our a decade R&D work, I can say, in this area. And really, I thanks all the jury members and organizing committee and this eMobility Plus for selecting Amar Raja for its best innovative. We can say that it's innovative and excellent. It is driving our all advanced projects. So definitely we will be establishing a world-class facility for the manufacturing of the giga-scale capacity lithium-ion plant in future. Yeah, thank you very much once again for the selecting Amar Raja for the best R&D, that is the pilot scale facilities, because we are the first in the private firm to establish such a wonderful facilities and adopted the ISRO technology. Yeah, thank you once again. Thank you all.
Dr. Mane, many congratulations to you. Of course, we've got Mr. Vijay Patil, who writes in congratulations, Amara Raja and team. And Dr. Mane, my apologies. I said that instead of, that your clients or your users will feel like they are riding a Hawaii Jahaj or a rocket, but I mean, ISRO technology, my God. And it seems like whatever is it that you're doing is state of the art, is world class. And that is exactly why you won this brilliant award. Many congratulations, Dr. Mane, yet again to you
Yeah,
and your team.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, as we complete, we've got Vijay Patil writing in India needs more companies like you. Wow. Okay, that absolutely must have made Dr. Mane's day. We've got Kamlesh Shukla who writes in congratulations, Amara Raja. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, there is a competition going on in the comment section. I see a very big tie between Vijay Patil, Mr. Vijay Patil, and Kamlesh Shukla ji for being super duper generous. So, generosity ke liye bhi we're giving away an award, and I see the first two contenders for sure. So, if you want to win a brilliant award of being super generous, pour out your heart in the comment box. Till then, let's move on very quickly to our next award. Our next award is
Nikita, we have Mr. Nitin Kumar from Epsilon. So we can have Mr. Nitin Kumar on the stage, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Geeta, for informing Mr. Nitin Kumar. Many congratulations to you. Okay, while Mr. Nitin Kumar makes his big grand entry, we've got.
Yes, we have Mr. Nitin Kumar.
We do. We've got Sankara Subramanian who writes, many congratulations to Amara Raja and team. Mr. Sankara, I've been noticing your comments as well. Yes. So, contender number 3 for Generosity Award. Mr. Nitin Kumar, many congratulations to you. How is it feeling?
It's great to have this award, and I would like to thank eMobility Plus and I think the whole industry ecosystem to have encourage companies like us who not only are starting the main I would say the raw material part of the the battery segment, and I think battery raw material would be the key part to make India, I would say, Atmanirbhar in a real sense for the EV ecosystem.
Fantastic work, Mr. Nitin Kumar, and my God, making India Atmanirbhar in your way, right? And that is exactly what our government has been asking: is how do we make India Atmanirbhar in the very fields that we work in? So, thank you so very much for your service, Mr. Nitin Kumar, to you and your amazing team.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. And before you leave, of course, we've got Our generous leader, Kamlesh Shuklaji, who writes in congratulations to Epsilon team. That's your team, Mr. Nitin Kumar. Many congratulations. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, very quickly moving on to our next award. Our next award is a Company of the Year Consulting. Okay, so the actual geniuses, the Genius Award, as we can call it. They're leading their way into EV sector in India, and the key services provided by them include consulting and advisory service to various state and central government organizations, as well as corporate sector. Let's see who these geniuses are. The award goes to none other than, oh yes, Jeremy. Now comes Jeremy. Sir, क्या बात है, मैं मान गई आपको. आपने बोला रीडर मैं कमेंट नहीं करूँगा, मैं खुद आऊँगा और अपने कंपनी का पूरा फुल फॉर्म बताऊंगा. So Jeremy, ladies and gentlemen, stands for Gujarat Energy Research and Management Institute. Fantastic name. And the winner, of course, we've got Representative Shri Kaushik Patel, the head of projects Solar.
Yeah.
Patel sir, thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I am very glad to thanks First View Air and E-Mobilities. I would like to add something. Jeremy is the pioneer in the EV space in India. We are the first in the Gujarat State Electricity Vehicle Policy prepared. And we have also involved in the solarization of Modera Sun Temple, where we are India's first operational solar city, where the EV infrastructure and battery storage were the key components. And also we are drafting a policy for government of Gujarat for integration, the techno-commercial and policy aspect of solar energy with electric mobility, ensuring the clean energy source of EV charging. And Jeremy also is an panel with SACI, the providing advisory services for building scalable business model for electrical vehicles. And we also provide the training of domain experts to India needs the skill manpower for scaling EV sectors. So Jeremy is playing a crucial role for training the youth in the EV allied domains. And we are also working with the Gujarat State Road Transport Company Corporation for development of electrical bus in Gujarat. And in major other than EV, we are also providing the consultancy in solar segment. And Jeremy has helped in drafting detailed project reports for more than 9 gigawatt solar park in India, including 5 gigawatt in Dholera, 3.3 gigawatt in Kutch, Khavda, and 1 gigawatt in Madhya Pradesh. And the Jeremy has designed the tender one of the first utility scale battery storage project in Gujarat State Electricity Corporation Limited, and the approximately 57 MWH battery storage coupled with 35 megawatt solar project. This is our big achievement in Jeremy, and Jeremy is working differently toward the large goal of clean mobility in India. So I would like to thanks First View Media Ventures for Limited and E-Mobilities. Thank you very much, ma'am.
थैंक यू सो वेरी मच मिस्टर पटेल. आपको और आपकी टीम को बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ. और ऑफ कोर्स आपके लिए बहुत सारे कमेंट्स आए हैं. वी हैव कमलेश शुक्ला जी हु राइट्स इन कांग्रेचुलेशंस टू मिस्टर कौशिक पटेल, विजय पाटिल जी हु राइट्स इन कांग्रेचुलेशंस मिस्टर कौशिक पटेल, एंड ब्रज किशोर जी फ्रॉम सिडनी हु राइट्स इन कांग्रेचुलेशंस जर्मी. सर पर मैंने आपको पूछा था शुरू में कि जर्मी का मतलब क्या है, पर मुझे बहुत अच्छी बात लगी कि आपने अवार्ड ही जीत लिया बताने के लिए.
We are as a consultant from last 10 years in solar segments. We are also providing consultancy in environment, petroleums.
Oh, fantastic work, sir. Fantastic work. Many congratulations to you yet
Thank you,
again,
ma'am.
to you and your amazing team. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And of course, we've got, ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy has won this award. Oh, there is Sonali Kapoor ji writes in, congratulations, Mr. Patel and team Jeremy. Sonali ji, thank you so very much. जाते जाते सर ने सुन लिया आपका कमेंट, बहुत ही अच्छा लगा. वी गॉट बिनॉय जोशी हु राइट्स इन कांग्रेचुलेशंस. क्या बात है. नाउ वी कैन सी द टेम्पो कमिंग अप इन आवर अवार्ड सेरेमनी के जो हमारे कमेंट सेक्शन में. दैट इज ऑल यू अमेजिंग ऑडियंस मेंबर्स. नाउ द टेम्पो इज राइजिंग और इसी टेम्पो को आगे बढ़ाते हैं. लेट्स मूव ऑन वेरी क्विकली टू आवर नेक्स्ट अवार्ड. आवर नेक्स्ट अवार्ड इज It is the company of the year, Make in India battery packs. Okay, so let's know more about the company. They are the first company to be able to make fully made in India battery packs with localized BMS, battery casing, assembly system, and connectors. The first company to license the battery manufacturing technology to two factories, one in Ahmedabad and one in Pune. The first factory producing lithium batteries with recycled plastic to open in December 2021. तो मतलब कुछ ही टाइम बचा है, 1 महीना 2 दिन बचे हुए हैं for them to actually open this revolution. So let's see which revolutionary company has won this revolutionary award. The award goes to revolutionary company. It is. We've got team Enzo Energy Private Limited, and we have Mr. Yash Sojitra, the CMO himself. Mr. Yash, many congratulations to you. Come on in. Tell us how you feel.
I am actually thinking e-mobility. So because this is a really proud moment for me and my team. I am grateful to all for contemplating me for this award. It will never be possible for me without your support and help from my team. And I sincerely express my heartiest thankful to all. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, Mr. Yash. Fantastic work. और सर आप पहले वीडियो में कब आ रहे हैं हमको ये बताइए. Oh, yes, we had to see the man himself, the CMO. Mr. Yash, many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
बहुत ही बधाइयाँ आप और आपकी टीम को. और मैंने वीडियो में आपको इसलिए बताया कि मैं फेस टू फेस आपको आपकी ही तारीफ सुनवाना चाहती हूँ. Mr. Vijay Patil writes in congratulations, Mr. Yash and Enzo Energy team. So, how does it feel? कैसा लग रहा है आपको?
अभी तो काफी अच्छा लग रहा है.
और अच्छा लगना चाहिए. काफी जी बहुत
लगे क्या थोड़ी और डेवलपमेंट करके फिर ज्यादा अच्छा लगेगा.
डन. तो मिस्टर यश, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, मिस्टर यश ये बोलना चाह रहे हैं कि अगले अवार्ड में भी इनका नाम तो होगा ही होगा.
या अभी से थोड़ा अप में रहेगा.
डन मिस्टर यश. फैंटास्टिक वर्क टू यू एंड योर टीम. जल्दी मिलते हैं. थैंक यू.
या श्योर.
एंड ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव मिस्टर कमलेश शुक्ला जी हु राइट्स इन कांग्रेचुलेशंस मिस्टर यश. क्या बात है, जब से हमने बोला है ना मिस्टर विजय और कमलेश जी की जो क्या बोलते हैं हमारा जो वॉर चल रहा है, द वॉर टू विन द मोस्ट जनरस लीडर, दे हैव टेकन इट वेरी सीरियसली. ऐसे सीरियसली बाकियों को भी लेना चाहिए. सो दिस इज आवर रिक्वेस्ट to others, and thank you so very much Vijay ji, Kamlesh ji, for being so kind. Okay, kindness is just plucking the leaf of kindness and moving on to our next award. मुझे I have actually noticed whenever I read comments and I start with the next award, Shankara ji writes in his comment. We've got Shankara Subramanian who writes very inspiring, Yash and team. Okay, and on that inspirational note, let's very quickly move on to our next award. Our next award is next award is the company of the year, Make in India Smart BMS. तो हम कंपनी के बारे में थोड़ा आपको हिंट देते हैं कि आप गेस कर पाए क्या करती है ये कंपनी, क्या करती है, क्या क्यों जीती है ये कंपनी. The company is specializing in lithium-ion batteries for EVs and energy storage systems. Along with their proprietary BMS and connectivity systems, they have developed battery packs for low voltage and high voltage applications using NMC and LFP cells of cylindrical and prismatic form factors. क्या बात है. I mean, this reminds me of my 10th standard, 12th standard physics. तभी भी complicated था, आज भी complicated है. पर देखते हैं which brilliant company has won this brilliant award. The award goes to of course, none other than Team Grintech Motors and Services Private Limited. We have with us Mr. Nikhilesh Mishra, the CTO himself. Mr. Mishra, many congratulations to you. Or stage is all yours.
Thank you, Nikita, and I feel elated to receive this award. It goes to the team, and thank you to the e-mobility team also. I hope the the paradigm shift that is happening in the direction of the EV will go ahead, will go smooth, and all the efforts that are going on in there will yield the result very soon. Thank you.
फैंटास्टिक मिस्टर मिश्रा, जोरदार तालियां हो जाए आपके लिए, और हम चाहेंगे कि आप हमारे साथ अपने लिए तालियां बजाएं और आपकी टीम को. ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव मिस्टर विजय पाटिल. ऑफ कोर्स अब तो मैं बोलूंगी ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव मिस्टर विजय पाटिल who writes in very congratulations Grintech and team. Or Mr. Vishwa, let me tell you, Mr. Vijay is so happy that it seems like he's won this award. इतने सारे exclamation marks मैं क्या बताऊं. We've got Sankara Subramaniam who writes in awesome congratulations, Mr. Nikhilesh and team. Vijay Patil ji writes in again, appreciate your support for Make in India product. And Kamlesh Shukla ji writes in congratulations to Mr. Mishra and team. Thank you so very much, Mr. Mishra. Many congratulations. Great day ahead.
Thank you.
ऑलराइट, इसी के साथ हम जल्दी से बढ़ते हैं हमारे नेक्स्ट अवार्ड की तरफ. आवर नेक्स्ट अवार्ड इज our next award is the company of the year, Make in India Machinery. Okay, so the heavy duty award abhi aa rahe hain. The company has battery pack assembly line equipment manufacturers. Their products are auto spot welding machine, auto cell sorting machine, and complete turnkey solution to set up battery pack assembly line. All products are designed and manufactured in India. Wow, okay. Isse to we just filled with pride reading that line. Let's see which pride filling company has won this pride filling award. The award goes to none other than Team Maestro Tech Systems Private Limited. And ladies and gentlemen, the man we've been waiting for to see his face for the longest time, none other than the super generous Mr. Vijay Patil, the director himself. Mr. Vijay Patil, बहुत ही खुशी हुई आपसे मिलकर.
Same here.
Sir,
thank you, Nikita and EMobility team for recognizing us this award. Maestro-Tech Systems, we provide assembly line automations for automotive industries. Now, especially from last years, we are supplying more machineries for battery pack manufacturing. I like to mention here that we have designed and developed automated cell sorting machines and automated spot welding machine that is completely in India. And this is our hot selling product nowadays. And we have supplied this machinery few of the good top EV manufacturers in India. Again, I would like to inform that for Indian battery manufacturers, that Make in India products are available in India and with the best quality and service supports. And once again, thank you for all. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सर. हमें आपको थैंक यू बोलना चाहिए. आप देखिए, अब मुझे समझ आया आप जीते क्यों हैं. आप इतने जेनरस हैं, आप इतने दयावान हैं. शुरू से हम देख रहे हैं आपने सबके लिए दुआएं दी. यू गेव योर ब्लेसिंग्स, यू गेव योर कॉन्ग्रेचुलेटरी नोट्स. तो थैंक यू सो वेरी मच मिस्टर विजय पाटिल. हमें बिल्कुल समझ आया कि आपको ये अवार्ड क्यों मिला है. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू सर.
Thank you.
क्या बात है. That was none other than Mr. Vijay Patil himself. Super duper generous. और generosity के साथ हम जल्दी से हमारे अगले अवार्ड की तरफ बढ़ते हैं. Our next award is our next award is, but अवार्ड लेने से पहले हम बिल्कुल कमलेश शुक्ला जी का कमेंट पढ़ना चाहेंगे फॉर मिस्टर विजय पाटिल. मिश्रा सर के लिए उन्होंने भी लिखा है, बट दिस इज फॉर मिस्टर विजय पाटिल, प्रीवियस प्रीवियस विनर. और इसी के साथ हम हमारे अगले अवार्ड की तरफ बढ़ते हैं. द अवार्ड इज फॉर द कंपनी ऑफ द ईयर, मेक इन इंडिया मटेरियल्स. ओके, तो कंपनी के बारे में अगेन पॉइंटर्स फॉर यू टू गेस. Pointers ये हैं कि their vision is to develop and manufacture innovative, high performance and quality carbon products for anode components of lithium-ion batteries. They are the only company globally that has fully backward integration from raw coal to an anode material. पढ़ा हुआ लग रहा है तो आपको गेस कर सकते हैं कि ये सुना हुआ लग रहा है. So I'm sure the winner, you must have guessed which company it is. Company has commissioned a facility to produce 2,500 TB of India's first battery raw material facility. क्या बात है. Let's see who the winner is. The award goes to. Of course, अब तो मुझे याद है. I mean, the description and the name we have remembered. None other than Team Epsilon Advanced Material Private Limited, and the man himself, the managing director, Mr. Vikram Handa. Mr. Handa, second time in a row, क्या हो रहा है?
I would, take, apologies. Mr. Handa is traveling, so I'm his colleague and I'm, accepting award on his behalf. Thanks, EV Battery Tech, for, appreciating Epsilon Advanced Material, for this award.
Of course, Mr. Handa, see, Mr. Handa नहीं आ सके, but we've got Mr. Galafat with us, sir. Nitin Kumar, sir, what a pleasure. I mean, कैसा लग रहा है आपको? बार अब मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है जितने स्क्रीन टाइम मेरी है उतनी स्क्रीन टाइम आपकी भी हो रही है.
I won't say like that, but yes, the Epsilon team has been working on this project for almost 4 years, and I think now we have reached a stage. Now we are ready to take it off to a global scale.
Absolutely. Many congratulations, Mr. Nitin Kumar.
Thank you.
Yet again, fantastic. Meet you very soon. Before you leave, we've got Mr. Vijay Patil writing in congratulations to Epsilon team. Thank you so very much, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vijay.
And of course, Mr. Vijay Patil, there is another congratulatory note right for you. We've got Kamlesh Shuklaji writing congratulations. We've got Sankara Subramaniam writing in congratulations to Vijay Patil and team. Fantastic. On that fantastic note, moving on very quickly to our next award. Our next award is ladies and gentlemen, completely changing categories now. It is the technology and the innovation award. जिसमें से our very first award is the battery management system innovation of the year storage system. क्या बात है. I mean, this is a quite मैं सिर्फ ये सोच रही हूँ कि वो अवार्ड पे इतना लंबा नाम कैसे लिखेंगे. That's my only concern. Okay, so no concerns. I'm sure whoever's winning is going to win a super amazing award. The company is India's leading storage technology company with cutting edge expertise in EV batteries, 2-watt and 3-watt and energy storage systems. They have developed over 75 megawatt per hour MWH of storage solution and powering over 15,000 electric vehicles. The company's BMS can meet wide variety of customer requirements. It has the ability for quick customization to customer needs. They basically, you say they do a type of a company, I believe. This can be software configured for multiple battery packs across capacities, voltage, dimensions, connectors, features, you name it. Let's see, कौन है ये? Who are these heavy duty people? The award goes to I knew it. Heavy duty और ये लोग ना जीते, that is impossible. We have Team Signi Energy Private Limited winning again, and of course the winner, Mr. Venkat Rajaraman, CEO and founder. Mr. Venkat, many congratulations, and yes, where are you? Ladies and gentlemen, till the time Mr. Venkat Rajaraman comes in, अभी मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि सर भी बोलेंगे कि I will come take the second award, thank my team. तो इससे अच्छा एक बार बोलो, come again whenever he wants, because Mr. Venkat is a celebrity, our celebrity for sure. Mr. Venkat, whenever is it that you come in, we'll have you and we'll drop everything that we're doing and listen to your amazing words. Till then, let's listen to somebody else's amazing words. We have, oh wow, we have Sonali Priya Kapoor writing, this is amazing. Congratulations, Team Signi, on your well-deserved success. Apurva Rajput writing, congratulations and bravo, full caps mein. Mr. Venkat and Team Signi. Kaushik Patel writing in, please share Mr. Kaushik Patel's contact. So that Mr. Kaushik Patel, there is somebody looking out for you, so please connect with that person. And we've got Sankara Subramanian writing in superb. Congratulations to Venkat sir and team. Mr. Vijay Patil writing in. Congratulations to Team Signy. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, of course, your well wishes have been well received by Mr. Venkat. Let's very quickly move on to our next award. Our next award is Our next award is the Technology and Innovation Awards, the Battery Management System Innovation of the Year, Wireless BMS. Okay, so the company's wireless BMS technology replaces traditional wired connections with a highly secure and reliable wireless communication technology. Its components, the wireless cell monitoring units, a wireless network control unit, and a battery control and vehicle interface unit, allow battery packs to be assembled without the need for a low voltage wiring harness. Oh, fantastic. General Motors is their first wireless BMS customer. Wow. Okay, now we know. I mean, if you've got the backing of a company like General Motors, it does not come as a surprise that you're winning this award. Okay, and has scheduled their system to launch on multiple electrified modules. So let's see which electrifying company has won this electrifying award. The award goes to Of course, we have with us Team Visteon, and the representative is Mr. Ashish Bhatia, the Regional Vice President and General Manager, India. Mr. Bhatia, what a pleasure to have you. Many congratulations.
Thank you, Nikita. I hope you can hear me well. First of all, I would like to congratulate you for your very energetic comparing for this electric awards. I think your energy is very inspirational. I'd also like to thank the organizers, EMobility Plus, and all the jury members now. And on behalf of Visteon, I'm very pleased to accept this award. As you rightly said in the introduction, Visteon has more than about a decade of experience in battery management system solutions, and our wireless battery management system is quickly becoming a technology differentiator and a market disruptor, which we will be launching at a global platform all around the world with various vehicles of General Motors. So what is Visteon? Visteon is a global automotive tier 1 company that has been in India for more than 20 years. And our goal is to support the electrification revolution in the global automotive market. We all know right now the automotive industry is undergoing a once in a century transformation with this electrification that's going on in across the entire spectrum of 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers, and 4-wheelers, and even commercial vehicles. And Visteon is committed to support the global growth of the electric vehicles, and this award is sincerely a testimony for that. I'm also very happy to see so many winners across the board in India, and the extent of work that is happening: research, consulting, manufacturing, R&D, collaboration with education institutes. Truly, this platform that you have provided, Nikita, is really bringing all of us together, and getting to know each other will further strengthen this ecosystem. So I congratulate you again, and very sincerely, very pleased to accept this award.
Mr. Bhatia, firstly, I am absolutely humbled, but this entire effort, right? I think getting so many leaders like you together can only be done by Geeta and her entire team at EMobility Plus. And the fact that you started your thank you with me, sir, बस इसी के लिए तो हम ये काम करते हैं.
Yeah, बिल्कुल. और आपका English style भी बहुत बढ़िया है, so I adopt that also. It's infectious.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. अब मैं 2 दिन खाना नहीं खाने वाली हूँ. I'm so superbly flattered. Fantastic work, Mr. Bhatia. What a pleasure to have you. Or of course, before you leave, we've got amazing comments for you. So let me read them out very quickly. We've got Kamlesh Shukla ji writing in, thank you, congratulations, Mr. Bhatia and your team. Vijay Patil ji writes in, many congratulations, Visteon team. Sankara Subramaniam writes in, awesome, congratulations, Ashish ji and to Team Visteon. Nice to see you after a long time, sir. Oh, so
Thank you,
seems like
yeah.
buddies from the past. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhatia. Many congratulations to you and your team yet again. And thank you. I will forever remember this.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
देखिए एनर्जी तो मुझे लानी पड़ेगी. I mean, we are talking about, the biggest award ceremony for EV battery tech. So I have to be as electrifying as the leaders themselves. Okay, very quickly moving on, very energetically moving on to our next award. Our next award is.
So, Nikita, we have Mr. Venkat from Sydney.
Oh,
would like to invite him back on the stage, please.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Geeta. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give it up for Mr. Venkat. Mr. Venkat, we
Thank
were
you.
very eagerly waiting for you. This second award.
Absolutely delighted, and I think looks like there was some networking glitch, so I could not get that. But truly, again, honored and humbled, and electrified, energized. All right adjectives. For receiving this award, and clearly, I would also like to thank. We are from as an incubator of IIT Madras. I would like to thank Professor Ashok Junjunwala and the entire team at the Center for Battery Engineering and Electric Vehicle, without which this would not have been possible. And truly honored and humbled, and thanks for all your wishes, and truly delighted to have this. Thank you so much.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. Many congratulations yet again. You seem to be a natural, and you seem to be like repeating awards. We were just commenting on how it's like very, very you're used to it now. And you say your speech once, and then you're like, okay, I can't keep repeating thank yous all the time. So that is probably why you didn't show up.
No, not true, Nikita, in the sense that I'm sure, next, I think as e-mobility and EV battery tech happens, I'm sure there are going to be, I would imagine, maybe a few thousands of companies. So I'm going to be competing hard. Come back next.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. And with that positivity and infectious smile that you have, I'm sure we'll see you very, very soon. Maybe this award show or next for sure, sir. Thank you so very much yet again. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Mr. Venkat with us. And on that positive note, let's move on to our next award. Our next award is. It is the Material and Chemistry Innovation of the Year, NCA and NMC cathodes. Okay. This is chemistry class going on. We have Aru Mugam writes in congratulations, Ashish. So that one goes to Mr. Ashish Bhatia. Let's quickly move on and let's know which companies won this award. Pointers for you to guess. The company's lithium-ion battery technology was licensed from the SSC, ISRO, Government of India. I think I've heard this company before, and established pilot scale facilities to produce all three forms, cylindrical, pouch, and prismatic of lithium-ion cells. They have developed and demonstrated the lithium-ion cells using the NC cathode materials as suggested by ISRO. However, the energy density of the lithium-ion cells with NCA cathode is lower than the advanced cathode materials. These lithium-ion are very expensive and hence selected to study the high nickel content NNC 811 cathode material for developing high energy density lithium ions and validated from NMC based cathode materials. Wow, okay, seems like I've read an entire book.
Yeah, because you have so much energy, so that you can, yeah.
Sorry.
Just now that Venkatji has mentioned, so really this e-mobility is giving the awards, but selecting the awards and selecting the films to give awards and all, but that the entire show is just done by Nikita Rana, right?
Wow.
So whatever this is something like that. See, it's like a marketing and production of kind of things. So even if you do produce a product, unless otherwise move to the market, then it will lie like that only. So that you are adding the colors to that, even this e-battery tech awards and all, and because I've seen last year also your energy levels really good and all. So yeah, this is actually as you know, this materials along with me. I think my Dr. Vasudevara also supposed to join. He may join is a little bit late. And material and chemistry innovation of the year, really we are excited to receive this award, because as mentioned, we have been working on the last almost 10 years in this field, and we understood almost all the chemistries. As Niti advisor also has mentioned, that what is the concern today is the material resources. That's why there is no manufacturing plant in India, though we have a crores of rupees of thousands of crores of rupees for the spending for the mobile batteries and even the EV batteries. Today all the EV cells are imported, right? So these materials, actually we have to, Niti Aayog is also, the government is also putting the best efforts to acquire or to have a collaboration with the mining people from Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, other countries, even Australia. So at the same time, we also domestic also we are exploring the people, because some of the peoples already, there's a chemical already they are manufacturing the materials. If you see, that is Epsilon also got the award for the two categories, and they are actually producing a carbon material which is used as a anode for the lithium-ion battery. Similarly, this is NCA and NMCA. Of course, NCA is developed by this ISRO technology, and NMCA is we have in-house developed with various because why these two things? Because of this energy density, and as compared to the other chemistry, cathode chemistries like LMO, LFP, and all those have a limitations of energy density as well as the this voltages, energy density and cycle life. Of course, the safety wise, this LFP may be slightly better than the NMC, but otherwise NMC have a higher energy density as compared to all other cathode materials available today in the market. So that's why we have to explore, we have to innovate and ensure that this is a material to be precisely resourcesly used, and we have to see whether these materials can be 100% recyclable, so that we can have a circular economy, we can preserve our resources, we can also develop a cost-effective product as advised by our Nidhi Sinha ji. So these are two practice to stop the Chinese products, or to to have a product of a cost of the Chinese. Definitely, we have to develop in-house products. We have to encourage our local manufacturers. There are so many companies are there. This is not only the anode material, even cathode material also, and electrolyte or separator material. All these materials can be explored domestically as well as by collaboration or partnership with other countries or other mining people and all, like-minded people, so that we will have a sustainable supply chain, so that we can serve a better way to our customers, and that is the way we can develop and we can quickly manufacture the cells in India. So that's government also pushing this manufacturing of cells in India with massive, that is incentives announced under PLIC scheme, that is 18,100 crores, which is really encouraging for the industry to jump into the manufacturing these cells. So with these few words, I thank you very much for the EMobility Plus for selecting us for this category award, and definitely we are developing innovative solutions, and we are also developing a good process to reduce the cost, and we are also developing a process for environmental friendly process, so that we can also reduce the cost. And overall, if you by addressing all the developing this kind of system, definitely our cost will become cost of the cell will be come down, then definitely our people will be it will be affordable to our customers. Yeah, thank you very much once again for receiving the selecting our company, and we are grateful to the EMobility Plus, and of course this Nikita ji, so for your encouraging words. Definitely this all the award winners will take with a positive energy and ensure that they will try to improve their product performance, and so that they will can serve a better way to our society with the clean and green energy for a better tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Dr. Mane, I mean, before you leave, right, before I get to what I have to say, from one leader to the other, you've got Mr. Venkat Rajaraman, who writes in hearty congratulations, Amara Raja and team and all the winners. Very well deserved award. So from one big leader to another. Dr. Mane, of course, I remember you from our previous segment, and thank you so very much for remembering my performance. But I would have to say, like a platform like eMobility Plus, and with leaders like you, they don't need poor little Nikita coming and doing anything. But the fact that you said it means a great deal, and I pledge to emboss your words. I help manufacture better and wear that t-shirt, sir. I will also have that added to my resume.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that my colleague, Dr. Vasudevara, you can invite him so that he will also just say a few words to that.
Absolutely. We love for Dr. Mane's colleague Vasudeva ji to kindly come on in as well. If the team could arrange for that. Dr. Mane, how about we have your amazing colleague come in? Whenever is it that happens? We will drop everything, like we always say. And the
Yeah.
first thing that we're going to do is get into a one-on-one with him.
Yeah, sure. No issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mane, for your amazing words. Means a lot. Thank you, sir. Thank you yet again.
Yeah.
And many congratulations.
Yeah.
And yes, we've got one thing is pending is listening to sirs and the other representatives. Till then, let's move on to our next award. Our next award is so. Of course, before we start with the next award, our we've given away the name. Not a problem. We have Dr. Warlu, who there's a comment for Dr. Warlu by Sankara Subramaniam. Many congratulations, and Team Amara Raja. And with that, let's move on to our award. The company has first one GWH. Is that a G that I read? Scale battery plant set up with our Chinese machinery, and the first company to create battery bags using recycled plastic. Absolutely amazing. And of course, as you can see, we did not want to add in more suspense. So first thing we did was this Dhansu company, this big shot company. No suspense. Directly, the name is to be given out. Of course, we have Vimarsh Joshi, the technical head of this brilliant company, Darwin. Mr. Joshi, how
Hi.
do you
First of
feel?
all, oh wow. Honestly, I cannot express. It's ineffable. I cannot express the joy and gratitude which I feel. But first, I would like to express that how on you don't know like how honored I am to be present at this platform, and I, on the behalf of my whole team, are indeed very elated on receiving such a prestigious award, and would like to express our sincere gratitude to eMobility Plus and EV Battery Tech for recognizing our efforts, passion, and hard work. And this award will definitely, motivate us to push harder and push the boundaries of innovation even further. So thank you very much for having me
We
here. Thank you very much for this recognition.
Absolutely, Mr. Joshi. And you talk of passion, and we can sense the passion from the screen. I don't know how is that you're doing it, but for some reason, it's like you're channeling your inner passion, and we can sense it through the screen. We've got Mr. Vijay Patil who writes in congratulations, Vimarsh. And yes, continue breaking grounds, continue innovating, and at this rate, I'm sure we'll meet you very, very soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we've got Geeta. Geeta, is there anything that you'd want to say?
Yeah, I would like to invite Mr. Vasudev from Amaraja to please kindly come on stage.
Mr. Vasudev, you've got none other than Geeta inviting you, so all right, we've got Mr. Vasudeva Rao with us. Mr. Vasudeva Rao, whenever is it that you're ready, stage is all yours. Thank you so very much.
Hi, Nikita. Could you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. But we can't see you, unfortunately.
Okay. You can see me now.
Yes.
Thank you, Nikita, waiting for me, and sorry for others. due to some issues, I didn't get the pop-up to join. Anyhow, it's a really fortunate moment for me and my R&D team to receive the award from you. I express my sincerest gratitude a lot, and mainly for coordinating this one and conducting this program is really encouraging to us, like chemists or other field people. And as mentioned by my senior, my superior Venkateswarlu previously, we are working on the cheap materials and highly energetic materials, and we want to avoid the depending on the other countries, and we want to sustain ourselves and the with accepting the circular economy. So mainly I want to thank myself and from my team, from my team side and my management side. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Vasudeva Rao. I mean, but no need to apologize. You being celebrity, you can make people wait for some time, and we will patiently wait for you, sir. Many congratulations yet again. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on from one celebrity to the other celebrity. Let's see which celebrity award the other celebrity has won. Our next award is Our next award is the Material and Chemistry Innovation of the Year, Synthetic Graphite. Okay, so the company Synthetic Graphite Anode EMG series are suitable for long cycle, high power, and high energy batteries. They produce various grades of synthetic graphite with properties designed to meet customer specific requirements. Okay, so कीवर्ड हियर इज कस्टमर स्पेसिफिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स. हमने पहले भी आपको यही बताया था कि दे यू से इट एंड दे डू इट. So hint यही है. Guess who the company is. Till then, we'll let you know. The award goes to of course, none other than Team Epsilon Advanced Material. We have with us Mr. Nitin Kumar, who seems to be sharing more screen time than me. मैंने पिछली बार कहा था as much as me, but I strongly believe now more screen time than me. Mr. Nitin Kumar, whenever is it that you're ready? I think Mr. Nitin Kumar is tired from switching on the camera again and again. So whenever is it that Mr. Nitin Kumar is ready and set, we'll have him, we drop everything and get him on board. Till then, let's quickly move on to our next award. Our next award is it is the Battery Thermal Management System of the Year. Let's know more about the company. We'll give you pointers about the company. They have their own battery management system used in our battery pack for better communication. Their BMS board has IoT support, which will be user-friendly to communicate without opening the battery pack manually. Innovation with air cooling and liquid cooling system and delivered to many companies. Wow. Okay, so we have to know who's won this award. The award goes to of course, second time in a row, we've got Team Grintech Motors and Services, and we have second time in a row again the CTO himself, Mr. Nikhilesh Mishra. Mr. Mishra, Adat, this is becoming a habit now.
Yeah, that's what we do, right? That's what is our specialty, and that's what is our strength. So.
Oh, okay. That was quick and short. Fantastic. I think a man of few words, but calm is few words, but the actions are very big. Fantastic.
Yeah, the action speaks for itself.
Absolutely. The award speaks for itself. Many congratulations, Mr. Mishra, yet again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, baat hai. I mean, few words, big awards, and we have Mr. Vijay Patil. Right, congratulations to Mr. Nikhilesh once again. That is a big shout out to you, Mr. Mishra. And very quickly, moving on to our next award. Our next award is. Our next award is the Battery Design Innovation of the Year, and let's know a little bit about the company. The company's motive is to be able to provide high quality, robust, reliable, and cost effective batteries. They're working on battery engineering, which includes electrical, mechanical, thermal management, as well as control, power electronics through our BMS charge systems, and also are working on innovative modular battery design. Okay, that is again a very big book I think I've read. Let's see who's won this award. The award goes to of course, none other than Team Coulomb Litech. I think the LI stands for Lithium Private Limited. Let me know in the comment box. And of course, the winner is Darshil Darod, the COO himself. Unfortunately, the representatives couldn't make it, but I'm sure they are enjoying hearing this wherever is it that they are from. Mr. Mishra writes in, thank you everyone. Just reading the comments. So yes, a big round of applause to Team Coulomb and Darshil Darod and his entire amazing team. Thank you so much, and meet you very soon. Till then, we'll move on to our next category. Our next category is it is Smart Awards, our third category of the evening, actually, and our very first award. Oh, there is one award. Okay, so the award is Smart Product of the Year. We're getting super smart people now. The company has developed a lithium battery with smart BMS and Neuron, as smart BMS allows DOD to be controlled. This is effect controls degradation to 15%, 20% of year versus a basic BMS, which leads to 50 to 60% range degradation. Wow, that's quite some saving and salvaging whatever can be degraded. Okay, smart BMS provides an extra layer of safety and power that PP provides transparency to customers and allows to remotely repair the app. Okay. Hasu, a very heavy duty introduction. Let's see which heavy duty company has won this heavy duty award. The award goes to Team Neuron Energy, and we have with us, wow, the co-founder himself, Mr. Prateek Kamdar. Mr. Prateek, many congratulations to you, and we're just waiting to see you.
Thank you, Nikita. Firstly, we like to thank the entire EMobility team for this honor, and we'd also like to thank all of our employees and clients for believing in us. And we hope to come up with such new products every year and keep growing in this ecosystem.
Fantastic, Mr. Kamdar. Many congratulations to you. And kya baat hai, we always say, I think leaders who keep it small with their speeches, they always believe कि हमारा काम बोलेगा. So, fantastic work, Mr. Kamdar. Many congratulations to you and your entire team yet again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was none other than the co-founder, Mr. Prateek Kamdar himself. And on that note, let's move on to our next award. Our next award is our next award is, of course, we've got product awards only, और उसमें से हमारा award है the best seller of the year. Okay, so let's give you pointers for you to guess which brilliant company has won this award. The company is one of the fastest growing battery companies in the country and has dominated the energy storage industry for more than a decade. Again, I will let you know. सुना हुआ लग रहा है. I'm sure this is a repeat win. Okay. For more than a decade and is a major battery supply, lithium and lead acid both in EV and ESS segments across India with manufacturing capacity of 1,44,000 year two-wheeler and 40,000 year three-wheeler per year three-wheeler. Fantastic work. And let's see which fantastic company has won this award. The award goes to Of course, जैसे कि मैंने कहा, सुना हुआ लग रहा था, and award goes to Team Trontech Electronics. We have Mr. Samarth Kochar, the COO, as well as the CEO. Mr. Kochar, whenever is it that you're ready? Let us know. Okay. Mr. Kochar can take his time. He's already up. Mr. Kochar, feel free to step in whenever is it that you are ready. Till then, let's move on to our... क्या बात है, ladies and gentlemen, समय का पता ही नहीं चला. We are actually down to our last award for the evening. How fantastic is that? Okay, so our last award till Mr. Kochar comes in. Let's see what our award is all about. Our last award for the evening is the Product Award, Value for Money Product of the Year. Okay. The company has reduced lithium-ion battery cost by 30%. Company focuses on supply chain localization and has achieved 80% localization in non-battery parts, 91% in battery parts, reduced in purchase by price of 15,000, reducing EMI from 4,500 to 3,000, which is quite a dip, and it actually is. I mean, you've dipped it by how much? 1,500 is quite a bit of an amount. Increased battery warranty and life from 1 year to 3 years. Increased vehicle life from 18 to 3 months. So basically, what they've done is they've just leapt and bound everything that they do. Again, suna hua lag raha hai this description. Let's see which brilliant company has won this brilliant award. The award goes to... We have from Team Darwin, Mr. Vimal Joshi, the technical head. Mr. Joshi, enthusiasm and passion is back.
Yes, exactly. Now, honestly, I'm kind of out of words because whatever words I have in my head, I already did it in the first time. So now I honestly don't know what to say. But again, I'm really grateful that our work is being recognized. And if you see the audience out here, if I'm looking, I've been listening to this conference since past 2 hours, and brilliant work, spectacular work which other companies are doing. I think it's really an honor to receive an award at this platform among such competitors. And I would like to congratulate everyone, each and every individual present here, because it is a collective effort which would make EV revolution possible in India, and each and every one of us are doing brilliant job. So yeah, kudos to everyone. Thank you.
Fantastic. Spoken like a true leader, Mr. Joshi. And yes, you started off with, you may be less with words, but again, I think you're quite prepared with how many ever times you were to appear on screen. I'm sure you'll give a fantastic thank you speech. Thank you so very much, Mr. Joshi.
Thank you.
Many congratulations to you and your team yet again. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, did I see Mr. Samad Kochar on stage with us? Mr. Kochar, come on in. This was the last award, but we are ending with you. Mr. Kochar, whenever is it that you feel free?
Yeah, hello, Nikita, I'm back.
Yes, sir. Many congratulations to you and your team. Anything that you'd like to say to all your fans?
Again, I'm short of words because I already got one award. But it's been possible only because of my team, their hard work, which has made us the bestseller of the year. So there was a correction. You said we produce 13,000. We produce actually 15,000 batteries every month.
My apologies, Mr. Kochar. Definitely. I mean, this absolutely calls for you to come back in and say, Nikita, I couldn't correct you. Fantastic, sir. We will keep it in mind, and many congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you to the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, with this, we've come to the end of our session. What fantastic leaders have we met? What amazing audience members have we met? Of course, a big shout out to Mr. Vijay Patil. Special mention to Mr. Vijay Patil, Mr. Subramanian, Mr. Sankar Subramanian, of course, and Mr. Kamlesh Shukla, who have been, and of course, to everybody who's commented, but a special mention to them because right from the very start, they have poured their hearts out. How fantastic are you? मुझे आप सबसे मिलकर एक बार तो पता लग गई कि EV Battery Tech Awards to 2021, that is powered by EMobility Plus, and the chosen ones, that is all of you. You are absolute rock stars. I mean, whatever you do it big, you do it super grand. With this, we come to the end of our award ceremony. A big thank you to our dignitaries and a big round of applause to our winners and their families. Zordar taaliyan ho jaye. Until next time, Wonderful meeting. Oh, we've got Mr. Sankara Subramania writing, and thank you, Nikita ji. Thank you, sir. Thank you. आप जैसे ही जो super talented, super generous leaders होते हैं, they make the show, right? It is all because of you. We do it for you. Thank you again. Congratulations. Great evening, everyone, and meet you very soon. Bye bye. Namaste.